welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A happy Tuesday morning to you. Although Oiler fans, it might not be so happy. This is the EST Hangout live on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Thanks for tuning in on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, or those watching on YouTube. Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with you here. And joining us from Green Planet is Davin and Ty, or Tyler. I like saying Ty.
Ty works good. Works good.
But you could call him either or. This is going to be... This is going to be a fun couple of hours, I'm going to say. We have nothing to talk about but the rain. We just have a storm to discuss. And we'll talk about biking. And I don't think
tell you a lot about my day yesterday,
I don't think there's anything else to really discuss.
Everyone wants to hear it.
Absolutely. We have nothing else to discuss today on the Hangout. There's been nothing happening.
All right. Okay. Well, see you later, guys.
Yeah, we could just... how's everything? We got to jump right into the Hangout headlines. Which is brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Premier conditions, top-notch service, unmatched value. After the storm passes, the place you want to go golfing is the Ranch. Book your tee time by visiting theranchgolf.com. Philip Broberg, Dylan Holloway, Offersheets with the St. Louis Blues. Perfect Offersheets from the St. Louis Blues and Doug Armstrong. Philip Broberg, 4 points. I want to get the numbers perfect here. He's 4.58 over 2 years, and Dylan Holloway 2.29 for each year, season per season for 2 years for Dylan Holloway. That is a second-round pick if the Oilers don't match for Philip Broberg. It is a third-round pick if the Oilers don't match for Dylan Holloway. I will start by saying I don't know why GMs haven't used this more. It is a great weapon, the offer sheet, especially with where the cap has gone, because you could sign a defenseman for $4 million, and it's only a second-round pick. But, oh, boy, what do the Oilers do, boys? Tommy?
Well, when I text somebody from Rockhouse today, all I got back was, So, I'm like, I don't this isn't good. Good. Well, it's good for the players, first of all.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to get paid.
Listen, is Dylan Holloway a $2.29 million? No, not yet. Is Philip Broberg a $4.5 million defenseman? No, not yet. Will they get there at some point? Yeah, probably. I was thinking about this. I'm like, if you can only pick one, who do you try keeping? And I'm like, Holloway, obviously, in my mind. And then I thought about it.
Yeah, that's
and I go,
a tough one.
you need a young defenseman. Plus, your team's old. You stayed old. You want both of them, right?
Yeah.
And the boys on the morning show were talking about how the Savoy deal kind of maybe helps mitigate the blow of Holloway if you do lose him. But I don't know. You're talking about you might be losing two left wingers if Kane isn't good to go, and if Holloway does end up with the Blues. I know the depth there is up front, but I think you try to get them both back.
You have to.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
really do. I mean, you just saw how important their depth guys were
Exactly.
in the playoffs. And then with Broberg, I mean, he stepped in and he was a game changer in the
very
playoffs.
good, yeah.
The kid can skate.
Yep.
The kid can shoot. The kid can play physical. I mean, it was an upgrade when they took Vinny out and they put Broberg in.
Yeah.
And
Broberg
to see,
very pleasant surprise.
Oh, I mean, it just forces the Oilers' hands, and I think they find a way. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, if this Kane thing comes to fruition and he is on LTIR and does need surgery, like people have suggested, again, like I said yesterday on the Oil Stream, probably up to him, and he's kind of, I don't know if he's being coy or I don't know what the situation there, but it always seems like there's always that question mark around him, right?
Yeah.
You're never quite 100% sure what he's thinking or what
if
he's
it's for the
do.
team or if it's for...
There's that as well. Good point, Deb. Yeah.
Does this news come out yesterday with Evander Kane because the Oilers knew this offer sheet was coming?
Probably. That's a good point.
Do you think the Oilers went because by all accounts it seemed like I think it was first John Shannon earlier this month or somebody early in July said Evander Kane's gonna be ready for training camp.
Yep.
And all of a sudden yesterday there's surgery, and then today the Oilers are in this big cap situation. Is there a situation the Oilers now maybe went and they had to go to Evander Kane dude, I know you don't want to do this, but we're screwed.
We got to make a team move.
We just had this happen to us.
Yeah.
Go enjoy your new winery you've created. Go enjoy life for a few months. we'll see you come playoff time, and let's go win a Stanley Cup together. But we have no other option except to really mess with this core.
Yeah.
Are you cool with that? And so like, I'm now looking at it. They're going, that news comes out yesterday because of this. Like, I'm not going to say that the Oilers got shocked today. I don't think I think they would have gotten a little bit of a heads up.
So
yesterday.
the timing question is it's interesting because I you guys brought it up when they signed the GM.
Oh, Stan Bowman.
Stan Bowman. You guys brought this up, the timing of that, right? Mm-hmm. Because Speck had his golf tournament that same day, right?
Oh yeah.
Like the folks that run this organization, they're not stupid.
No, this
right. They're calculated.
People. Yeah.
And so by bringing that up, Maddie, I think that's not too far off. It's interesting.
Sorry, just doing a little
audio tethering.
Just
I like this.
Tuning into somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody said Tommy's mic's a little low, so I was hopefully
sorry.
He's just a soft talker.
Just a soft talker.
But yeah, just that just makes it a little simpler for the Oilers, because so here's what we had figuring out before the show. It's 6.87 combined for Broberg and Holloway. The Oilers, according to Puck Pedia, are about $350,000 over the cap at the moment. So that's 7.22. If you take Evander Kane off, they need to still shed $2.09 million.
Is that Cody Ceci, right? Like,
yep.
That's
so.
I think that's what we're thinking is Ceci or Kulak.
Yeah.
Kulak, I like.
I like Kulak too.
Yeah,
like I would rather keep Kulak.
At some point, you got to make a move and decide whether you're going to go with the young guy or keep Kulak around.
I'd keep Kulak around until the young guy is showing.
He might be
the
more attractive option to move, though.
Maybe.
Or do you just match one and let the other go?
You can't though.
Why not? Because I think it's Broberg stays.
Broberg has to stay.
He'd be the one.
I agree. And
you have Savoy. Could he just come in and replace Holloway?
And Holloway's injury history too, right? I mean, the guy's he's great when he's great, but how many times was he injured last year, the year before? Right, he takes strides forward. Takes steps forward, and then boom.
But what if he stays healthy?
I would love to see him stay. Yeah. I like him.
Yeah,
he's a stud.
Yeah, I think you saw the most flashes from the playoffs this year that we've seen.
Yeah, and he's handsome too.
That doesn't hurt.
Makes Tommy look like a street rat.
Yes, I will accept this. Very true. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, no problem, buddy.
I appreciate that. It's what a pickle. Gives us a little something to chew on, right?
Yeah.
Why would
at least
Holloway
it wasn't
sign?
the Flames.
I'm intrigued. Why would Holloway do this? Why do you think?
Dollar
but it's
bills,
not
yo.
like that major of
and
dollar bills.
Opportunity, man. Like,
sure, but you're leaving a chance at a cup here. Like Broberg, I understand because there's the issue with Vinny Desharnais passing. We've seen the history with the franchise between his camp and the Oilers have a little bit of a fracture. Mm-hmm. And he's getting $4 million, where we're talking about probably with the Oilers, he was going to get under 2. Dylan Holloway was going to get, 1.5 or something? So it's not like he's getting this massive pay raise. And you're potentially leaving the Edmonton Oilers and this cup.
Yeah.
Not for $4, $5, $6 million, for a couple million a season.
Yeah.
Why do this if you're Dylan Holloway? You are also getting elevated to be a major player on this team going into this season.
It was more of an opportunity for him this year, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's tough to say with some of the moves they made in the offseason if he's going to get some top 6 minutes or not. Kind of start to get buried in the lineup a little bit, so this might be a chance for him to get more ice time. And
where does he fit in then with the Blues? Like,
that's a great question.
You know what I mean? If a guy like him is considering that move, it's got to be because he's guaranteed that top 6 opportunity.
Somebody's
right
telling him, we see you as this with us, and we like what you did here.
Power play time, the whole bit, right?
Exactly. The other thing I thought of, and I'm glad you guys brought it up, kind of reminded me too, I was going further down the line, I'm like, what if, or when the Oilers match and they keep Broberg, let's say, all of a sudden he's a $4.5 million defenseman on your team. How much does that change the attention and the type of scrutiny he will be under? Because he's not a young, cheap defenseman anymore. He has just turned himself into a $4.5 million D-man in the NHL with either the Blues now or the Oilers. And how does that change the perception of him? Let's say he's struggling and isn't finding his game. I think he will, obviously, after what he showed us late in the season last year. But now you can't go, Broberg, tough night. He doesn't get paid much, and he's just finding himself at the end.
He hasn't handled scrutiny very well.
Yeah, that's very true.
Right? Like he is not He's not good at handling that, and that's what you saw when he was talking about wanting a trade and wanting out of Edmonton.
Yeah, that was
right?
his agent who
His
really,
agent,
and
but-
apparently that was his agent. Came as a surprise to Kenny Holland,
Right.
and it changed the dynamic
Yep.
between the agent and Kenny Holland, and obviously affected Holland and the player, who
Yep.
sounds like they had a pretty good relationship anyway. But yeah, that's part of it too.
So, again, by putting that target on your back,
That's
taking
one
that
thing I
up,
thought,
and
like,
you can't. You have to be ready to be a pro, man,
yeah,
in all facets of it.
that's true.
Yeah, I think it's also tough to bury $4.6 million on the third pair D line.
Right?
To bump
See?
up. He's got to have to
That's-
play a little more, take a bigger part. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Thanks, Maddie.
Why do we have what fans would say, and I can see the text coming into the Oil Stream post-game show already, why do we have a $4.5 million defenseman in the third pairing only playing 14 minutes a night?
Is he playing third pairing D with
I'm just-
Darnell Nurse? Okay.
Well, that's an expensive
Nice
third pair. Good point.
$14 million down there.
I guess at a point, it's got to be a business decision. Do the Oilers feel that Broberg's worth that much money right now? Right?
Is that the question? Is he worth that money right now?
But in the
or
future.
can we afford to let him go right
Yeah.
now?
Yep.
Not the money, but you let, like, it's middle of August
Mm-hmm.
almost. You let Broberg go. How do you replace him?
Okay.
Is who steps up, because you don't have Vinny Desharnais now. Who steps up and replaces him as the number 6 defenseman on this team?
Is there anyone available right now? Right? Because the Oilers are an attractive franchise. Like,
Free agency wise?
yeah.
Oh,
And if Kane is going on the LTIR, we have an opportunity to sign someone who actually is a $4 million defenseman.
I'm doing Puck Pedia as well right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I have it up on my
Where's
phone too,
Cap
but
Bradley?
I just don't operate my phone as quickly as you guys, especially this young guy.
Iwanyck's very quick.
Yeah, no, I can't do it. I get in arguments with
2024
Siri all the
UFAs.
time.
I just trying to. It's learning these things.
Right.
Is Justin Schultz still a UFA? Justin Schultz is a UFA. Shattenkirk's still a UFA.
Where's Schultz in his career,
Addison,
though?
Tyson. Do you have the return of Tyson Berry
Oh, man.
to the Edmonton Oilers to
Wow.
replace Philip Broberg?
How did he do the last couple of seasons?
Barry?
Yeah.
Well, he had a spat with Barry Trotz and was a healthy scratch
Right.
for a lot of games.
Right.
So
Right.
Last year in
That's not
41
good.
games, he had 15 points, 1 goal, 14 assists. And in the 24 games he was with the Preds after the deadline last year, 3 goals, 9 assists, and, for 12 points.
Yeah.
But
He's got a lot of chemistry with those boys, though, back here in Edmonton.
you're asking him to be a 6th defenseman, though.
Yeah.
Do any of those appeal to Oiler fans or Jeff Jackson and Stan Bowman as okay, if we do let Philip Broberg go, we can bring in a Justin Schultz or a Tyson Berry to replace
Who would you guys
Philip
think
Broberg?
out of those guys? Who would you guys take?
I'd probably try to avoid all of them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
In all honesty, try to figure out the solution to this situation
Yeah.
that now presents itself.
So then it's Cody Ceci,
Yeah.
Kulak, Corey Perry. Someone's got to go if Kane's on LTIR.
I'm still blown away by the Perry signing. And what do you get?
I agree with
1.4
that
for
one.
the
it
year.
was just under what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Before it's counts against the cap.
I was
They
a
send
little
it
bit
down, yeah.
surprised that happened.
Yeah.
But it was long.
But that's where I could see them maybe, because I think you if Evander Kane goes in LTIR, one of these guys can be matched and they're fine.
Yeah.
It's that second one that causes the problems. So is this a situation where they sit there and go, we've got forwards, we've got these players, goodbye Dylan Holloway, we will keep Philip Broberg because it's just
But do you wanna
there was
keep
nothing else there.
Corey Perry or Dylan Holloway?
Dylan Holloway.
Dylan Holloway.
Yeah.
So why don't you put Perry on waivers? Like, what are we doing with him? Like, we don't need to keep him. Like,
That-
we
again, I'm
signed
just
him
saying.
as a nice to have, I would say.
That's a nice way to describe it.
Yeah.
Nice to have.
It was a nice to have. He's a nice guy.
nice to have.
You know, he's putting a little cross check up to Buddy's mouth there in the playoffs. It gave everyone a laugh. It was fun. It was a turning point
I did
in the
enjoy
playoffs,
that.
right?
I did enjoy that.
Yeah.
It was clever.
You got to have those guys on your team. But
I don't want to end this conversation. We will get back. Later on, the other conversation we will have to get to, Dave Naylor saying here the new owner of the Elks has been approved by both the team's board and the CFL, marking the end of 75 years of community ownership. Announcement expected by the end of this week. We'll talk a little bit about that later here in the Hangout, but just want to get that out there, as well as news just keeps dropping around the city of Edmonton. But yeah, we're sticking more though right now on the here and now with the Oilers and all of this that's going. One person saying trade Jeff Skinner to free up some money. Don't weaken your defense as your first choice. Well,
thanks for coming to the team.
Yeah.
We're trading you.
Yeah.
Remember that?
it was a great month and a half
We hardly
with
knew
you as the
you,
Edmonton
Jeff.
Oilers.
It was the closest Jeff Skinner's ever been to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I like
tie guy. Throwing darts.
That's
Aiden texting in 780-218-9999 Purse Jewelers inbox. If they let Broberg go, is that Josh Brown an option to fill in his place until the deadline? Yeah, yes. Like, sure. It's just.
Do you remember what DNB had? What was the quote that he
there
had
was a
from someone in
quote,
Arizona?
He is not. I'll paraphrase it. He's not good.
What was it? I think it was a worst defender.
Yeah, like one of the worst players, something like that. But he's big and he's tight and he'll fight.
Really?
Yeah, no,
Really?
It wasn't like an overwhelming, like, this is a great signing when the Oilers signed that one. It was across hockey. It was like, this guy, not really.
It was not a glowing review.
It was a hit job.
Yeah, of Josh
Yeah.
Brown's abilities in
Right.
the NHL as a defenseman. So,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We have good forwards. We don't need deep.
What is going on today?
why? What happened?
Nathan Rourke is signing with the BC Lions.
No way.
wow.
There you
Good.
go.
Good for the CFL. Good
I
for the
thought
CFL.
I was completely wrong on this. I went full conspiracy, and I thought he was going to sign next year with the BC Lions because it's Grey Cup year and they got VA.
VA's all
I like
mixed
to
up.
see him
Joel
back,
Gallo
though,
wasn't
man.
good the other day.
Hopefully Lucas Holt isn't listening because I got to quickly make a fantasy
Oh,
waiver claim right now. I don't think there's a lot of people in this world that is about to do a CFL,
CFL
fantasy waiver claim. But
I'm not judging. I'm not
My
judging.
waiver claim is happening as we speak. Dropping Drew Brown. Hopefully no one else picks him up.
This one text comes in and says, can't ever question athletes for taking money, especially the lower paid players. It is such a difference maker. $700,000 a year for younger player salary is bigger difference than someone making $5+ million. Holloway is overhyped by Oilers fans. Offensive potential is limited, hasn't shown consistently, even an AHL third liner, Fogle type player. I think the ceiling for there are people I've had many conversations with people that have that same thought as the texter. I like Holloway. I really like the jam that he shows, and I think there is a potential for a 20 goal. Well, Fogle just scored 20 and 20, right?
Yeah.
I think Holloway can definitely do that.
I think the I guess to the texter's point there, like those guys' careers are only as long as they are, right? They can end like that.
It can be fleeting, yeah.
Right?
Very good point.
So they don't have a big contract right now, right? They might not, their next contract might not be that big. They get an injury for a guy like Holloway, who's injury prone, as we just talked about. Take that money, set yourself up, your family up when you can. I'd rather see him do it here than St. Louis. I don't think we're judging them for.
Yeah, I was the one that brought that up.
Yeah.
So I'll say, the reason for that is.
You would.
Well, the reason for that, the only reason I brought it up, though, was.
You're such a heel.
But it's. I go for the money. Why would you leave the situation of the Oilers where you have a chance at a cup here?
You answered your question with another question.
For the money.
You answered a question with your question.
But I also feel like you're betting on yourself where you feel like with the Oilers, if you do well here and you're in the top six, you will get paid still.
Eventually.
He's a younger player still, so like you sign that 2-year deal of 1.75.
But his career could be over after.
100%.
Right?
But you also could sit there, like, to me, it's not like you're getting $4 million at Philip Broberg.
No,
you're not getting this massive jump
the
where you're going, I
discrepancy
can't let this go.
Yeah.
You're getting an extra maybe $1 million for 2 years each year. Like, so it's an extra $2 million, which is a lot of money. I don't want to take that away.
I mean, with your set, you make what, $10 million a year, Maddie? Right?
That's it?
Yeah.
That's not including the bonuses that I've got coming. No, but like he's still a young player, and I get the injury part of this, but you could be with the Oilers, have a chance to win a cup, play really well over 2 years, and then all of a sudden you could go to the market expecting $5-6 million, and you have a ring to your name.
Padding his stats.
Whereas you're with the Blues, and you get the couple mil. Maybe you do well, and you can get your 5-6.
And he's playing harder hockey.
But you're not getting closer to the Stanley Cup.
And he's playing a harder style hockey. With
So
the
here's
Blues, right? Yeah.
here's the Blues forwards according to a daily face-off. They got Robert Thomas with Neighbors and Kyrou, Bushnevich with Saad and Shen, Faxa with Torpchenko and Texier, and Sundqvist with Joseph and Kapanen. So, yeah, he's going to fit into that lineup.
He will.
But he was also going to fit into the Oiler lineup.
Yep.
And I understand that maybe he wasn't immediately going to be top 6.
It's in and out.
But he would have been in and out.
Yeah.
So that's just the only reason I'm not calling him out and saying he shouldn't have taken the money. I'm just curious why he valued, like, a younger player of his skill is valuing $1 million or $2 million up front over 2 years more than a Stanley Cup, and still having the chance at the money.
And he has, and I guess in Edmonton too, for these young guys, there's the opportunity for, not sponsorship. What's the endorsement deals, right? Like these guys, because we're a small community and because we're Edmonton Oiler crazy, I mean, their salary is their salary, but everything else they do in the city, so many more opportunities for them here. But yeah,
you're a bit of a god, I guess.
A bit, yeah. I mean, I have a chapel at my house for them. Dylan Holloway exclusively. I told you, he's handsome.
The Man Rocket?
What? Yeah. Big time.
Does this impact Leon or Connor in any sense if they match these?
No.
Why do you ask these questions?
Well, it's because it's come up. It's come up in the nasty chat.
Yeah,
as I've
no,
seen
it
where
does not.
They sit there. Some people were saying that does this? They go, why am I gonna just leave money on the table when we've got these two guys?
Yeah.
Broberg getting a massive extra amount of money, Holloway not as much, but getting a little bit more. That's what we're leaving the money on the table for.
I think there's also the side of you have those contracts coming, you have Bouchard coming, you have to be aware of all these things coming down the line. You can't just jump and make a couple moves just to sign both these guys, and then how do you make $7 million for Bouchard or $9 million for Bouchard or whatever that amount's going to end up being, right? In a year.
Yeah.
That's trippy. I just turned on YouTube so I could see the chat.
And
that's weird, man.
You're there?
That's so weird. I don't like that.
You're doing that.
So I always keep it paused because I don't like actually watching it.
I didn't know you could do. Okay.
Yeah, if you pause it, you can still get the chat.
Science.
So yeah, it's.
There we go.
I still have that full chat, but yeah, it is weird when you're watching yourself like 10, 20 seconds behind. It messes with you.
Yeah, time warp, man. I just watched Back to the Future with my son last night.
Had he ever seen it before?
No, he's 5 years old.
Oh, okay.
It was an hour and a half of me explaining to him what time travel was and how it worked. It's like, buddy, can you imagine if you hopped in a time machine and went back to when I was 5 years old and you came up to me and said, "Hey, Dad, I'm your son." And he's like, "What? I don't get it." But then by the end, he was like, yeah, he was into it. He kind of got it. Anyway, sidetrack. Beautiful mind.
That's the beauty.
ADHD. It happens.
Mark asking, can you trade Broberg Holloway within 7 days and maybe get something more with another piece or two moved with them? Other team has to sign them to offer sheet terms. Still correct. You can't. The Oilers have 7 days to make a decision. Yeah. Let them walk to St. Louis or match it, and they stay with the Oilers. I don't know what the trade scenario is when you match an offer sheet.
There's got to be some protections there.
I think it's until the end of the calendar year, or is it a year that they have to be on your roster?
Say that again, because I have something to say.
Well, if you match an offer sheet and they're on your roster, how soon can you trade them? Because I think there is a protection.
Right away?
I don't know if you can trade them right away.
That's a CBA thing.
I'll have to look.
Yeah.
Did anyone catch that the Penguins and Blues made a trade before this deal?
I saw Frank Cervalli posted that.
Okay. So the Blues ended up getting that second round pick next year back, right? And that would be the compensation for what was it, Broberg, right? The
Blues got back their pick.
So they got back their pick. The GMs in the NHL, it's an old boys club. Do you think...
Oh, man, I know.
Do you think there might have been some motivation as well to kind of get at the Oilers and the way that they treated Kenny Holland? because these guys do things.
Oh, with the Kenny Holland part of this.
So you got Dubas
With it
saying,
all,
okay,
with it all.
I'll send back that pick for you.
because he gets
Second rounder.
what does he get, a third next
So
year?
the deal was a 2026 second round pick and a 2025 third round pick that goes to Pittsburgh for a 2025 second round pick to St. Louis and a 2026 fifth round pick to St. Louis. I wonder if there's another motivator to this, as well as trying to pluck two good young players from the Oilers.
Well, Peter Chiarelli's also part of the St. Louis
and
Blues.
there's
I'll
that.
throw that out there.
Oh, yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
these GMs, they get recycled, and Kenny Holland was a very popular GM.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
There's games afoot.
Games
Far
afoot.
beyond. Far beyond,
I
yeah.
think that's.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because without this move, the Blues can't go and make that happen.
Yeah, because you have to have your
Pick.
Exactly.
picks. You can't have someone else's pick. It has to be your specific picks to do an offer sheet.
Yep.
Or do they just want to hurt the Oilers across the board?
Well, there's that.
Well,
too.
every
There's so
team-
many-
is there
every
the
team in the
Pittsburgh
league
Penguins
wants
saying,
to.
"Oh, we have a chance to help knock down the Edmonton
No one
Oilers
wants
a
to help
little
the
bit"?
Oilers. Yeah.
They're the team that everyone's
Yeah.
going to be scared of next
Yep.
year. Yeah, let's
As
do
they
this.
should be.
I will gladly help you. And then what
Yep.
do we? I know they get a pick out of this, the Pens, but do they get a little something from the Blues a little bit down the road too, or something like
Oh,
that?
yeah. I'm sure.
I will go the other
Little
side
pat
though.
on the
This is
back.
that you have Ken Holland, who was very nice to other teams.
He's nice
And-
to everybody.
But
And they never did it. No one ever did
Yeah.
it back to the Oilers. When it came to the Duncan Keith trade, it was, well, you want me to get it for free, and you got to give what you want. And then now, like, everyone still takes their shots at the Oilers, though. And they did while Ken Holland was still a GM too, a little bit here. But I never thought of that part. Is this a?
How convenient is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, it's Doug Armstrong in St. Louis.
Make some phone calls, Tommy. Get to the bottom of this.
My phone's been blowing up all morning. I got up like, uh-oh, what happened?
So, according to what I'm reading so far online, I haven't looked fully deeper, but a potential benefit to the player whose current team matches an offer sheet is that the player cannot be traded for the next calendar year.
Okay.
So, if
Right.
that is still indeed the rule, then yeah, the Oilers, if they match either of those two guys, I guess you can't trade them till next August,
I see. That makes sense.
right into next August, which.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're looking
Because
to
you could
trade
trade
him. You're
him
not
as,
looking to
you could
fully
trade him as
him.
punishment, right? Like kind of not punishment, but retribution for putting them in that situation. Then you're just dumping that salary anyways. It's it's a yeah.
Yeah, well,
So
I hope they
that's a
don't
huge
think that
protection
way.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Right?
If it wasn't there.
Yeah. If it wasn't there, it's a huge protection thing.
Yeah, because the players,
Yeah.
they negotiate in good faith with another team to get some money.
It takes away the purpose of an offer sheet if they don't have that protection there. Because the Oilers could say, yeah, we'll match it, and then dump them. Like, whatever, then it's off the Oilers' books. Trade them somewhere else. Those guys
Yeah,
are
it gives
still
the player
making
the
it.
option of where they want to go and what
Yeah.
situation they want to be in.
The only change I would like maybe make a rule is that if you match it, you should be able to maybe trade with that one team.
Yeah, to up the compensation.
I guess
a
that
bit.
doesn't matter. No, because it is a trade in the end. You're still getting that. Yeah, I was going to say
Yeah.
up the compensation.
Yeah.
If you said them like, no, absolutely, we'll let him go.
Yeah. And then,
But we want, instead of a second for Broberg, we also want this prospect.
so negotiate.
If you could maybe negotiate the terms a little bit, but I guess
But
that
you have to-
defeats the purpose
it does,
of the
yeah.
RFA. And you
Yeah.
could have made that trade prior,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
don't get to a point where the player
Yeah.
signs that offer sheet
Yeah.
and make that move instead. No, it's look.
business
We
of sport,
we
hey?
credited Jeff
Yeah.
Jackson for everything he did on Canada Day,
Yeah.
Rightly so.
but he also created this situation.
He got distracted.
well, it's
with
he
the
left them
Bowman stuff.
open for this.
Got distracted.
I don't know if it
Eyes
was
on the
that, but I,
prize.
think, I wonder if there was they didn't think anyone was going to offer sheet because
Well,
you don't see this too often.
Don't
in hockey.
assume things then, right?
There was talk, fair, but there was talk of like, could Calgary go and try to pull that off? And what a move and play that would be by the Flames. But I truly don't think these guys would look at Calgary and be like, yes, we'll take your
Yeah.
offer sheet. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at the Flames compared to where the Blues are at. I know the Blues are kind of like tweeners right now, but they have some good pieces.
Yeah,
and
they do.
You look at the Flames, you're like,
And-
that's going to be a bad team for a while. So.
And it's as an organization, like you hear a lot of talk from the alum and how tight knit of a group that is. I think when you become a St. Louis Blue, you're part of their culture. It's
they have, you're right. Like,
Right?
They have a very
so it's an attractive place to go, I think, for a lot of young guys, and
the alumni is very
Yeah.
robust, and
Yeah.
a lot of them
Yeah.
end up staying around.
that's
there.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
interesting.
So then you're getting mentorship, you're getting in with,
Good culture.
other opportunities, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
McTavish, not Craig, texting in, says, let Broberg walk. Kulak and CC more experienced and predictable. Surprised Holloway signed the offer, but he may have analyzed the depth chart and did not like his chances in the next couple of years to play power play and PK. And adds that Broberg's still unproven at $4.5 million. I think that's a fair statement. The last one about Broberg being, unproven, and then we talked about it earlier. Like now you're not just the 6'7" guy at an affordable rate. You are being paid a bit of a premium to be relied upon. Is he ready to take that step? I think so.
Yep.
But we'll see. Time will
Yep.
Oh, yeah. What would have he got if the Oilers were just signing him? If there was no offer sheet? Two?
Less than two.
Oh, yeah. No,
Right?
100%.
And that's you're
and
making a
short
significant
term.
jump.
Yeah,
pretty
short
sure.
term. Because it wasn't until the playoffs where he actually showed up. And
Right.
everyone's like, oh, he can play hockey. He's an NHL defenseman. But it wasn't like, oh, wow, this guy is a top two pairing. It was like, no, like, he's not that bad.
Yep.
He's not a liability. It was fun to watch.
He was given chances
Yeah.
to start
Yeah.
seasons with this team and didn't really take a hold of it, right? Had to get sent down
So-
the last couple of years.
So where were we when this conversation started? Before we started talking on those two, Broberg and Holloway, where did you sit, Maddie?
In terms of
Keep,
I
let
would-
walk. When this conversation started,
Yeah,
though,
no.
like this morning.
I didn't really. I think I would have been more. You're keeping Broberg and you're letting Holloway walk.
Yeah, so keep Broberg, Holloway, walk. Where are you now?
I'm probably still the same.
The same?
Because like Holloway to me is a guy that
Yeah.
could be replaced.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Savoy is one of those guys that maybe has to take that step
Yeah,
up.
and that's
but
fair.
ultimately, even if you don't have Holloway, they have a lot of offense.
They do.
And it's not like
Yeah.
if Dylan Holloway is making or breaking this upcoming season, there's bigger problems than with the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
Whereas if Philip Broberg not having him, you're just losing one of your top six defensemen. And is it Troy Stetcher then who has to step up? Is it Josh Brown that has to step up? And I don't like those options
No, they're not.
necessarily.
No.
Whereas
That's good.
we know the other way, like it ultimately the forward group's going to
Okay.
run by the other guys.
So, Ty, like I just want to do a quick roundtable because
Yeah,
I think,
go for
Ty,
I think my side is you got to pick one at most. I think go with this too much money to invest right now into a team that has a lot of big contracts coming up the next couple of years if you want to stay in that competitive window for a long time.
yeah.
I can make a case for either guy. I think Holloway was exciting and had lots of flashes during the playoffs. I think Broberg, you've given time and time again, but you finally did see it. So that's probably the more risky option, especially at the number that he's looking at.
So you're definitely keep one.
I think you try to keep one, especially if you can figure out an LTIR situation
Yeah.
with Evander Kane.
Well, before we continue on that, Rashog has a tweet now
Yeah.
from a couple minutes ago. My sense on Kane is surgery is the most likely course of action. Process is still underway to determine exactly what needs to be done, as there were several significant injuries he was dealing with. He's not likely to be ready for training camp, and it could be several months into the season before he's available.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
several months to me would be 3 to 4 minimum.
See you in March.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that right there, though, it's easy to keep one player.
Yep.
For sure.
Well, you are. I mean,
Well, but the money's like, it's not a how do you make it work.
The $4
it's
million
can you make it work for both?
Yeah.
To do that, you need to make one other move.
and so
which
2.09 million, I think
that's what I think. Yeah, but there's
Kane's on LTIR.
Yeah, and there's going to be one other player that's going to have to go down anyways.
Yeah.
I think from the forward group, so you could probably take away like a Derek Ryan at 900,000 or something like that.
Perry.
So now we're down to.
I'd way rather
think
keep
Perry.
Ryan.
But you're
Yeah.
talking about so the Oilers need
Yeah.
to make up $1 million in some way.
Yeah.
To keep both. How they do that?
Perry.
Well, no, they need on top of that.
Oh, on top of
on
that?
top of that, I'm saying.
On top of Perry.
I think based
Right.
on
Oh,
how
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
looking
because
at the
it was
math.
2
yes.
point- yeah, right,
Because
right,
it's
yeah.
7 point whatever.
Yeah.
You use Evander Kane's. It's like it was 2.09 or something
Yes,
like that.
yeah.
So Perry at 1.2 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's still not enough.
Yep.
So you need to find a little bit more. What would that be? That's where it's. So now,
lies
actually,
the
so I
cracks.
interrupted the conversation because the two of us answered the question.
Well, yeah, no, I was
I'll
curious.
go to you now.
Yeah, sure.
And
No,
then we'll go to Tom.
honestly,
Oh, sorry, I was answering text.
When I
like,
first-
No,
text
not you know what I'm saying.
coming in.
We
Okay.
answered, then I interrupted
Yeah.
with So then we're
Well,
going to
no,
go to data.
Ryan
and we're gonna go to
Rashog interrupted.
Well, Ryan
Shoggy-
Rashog's tweet. Well,
Shoggy
his tweet came from 9:20, so I was late with it. But I interrupted,
So-
after the two of us answered. So now we got to get to you.
I wanted to keep both of them, right?
Yeah.
But the more we talk about
Has that
it,
changed?
the amount of money that we would have to dish out. I mean, yeah, we look at Broberg and Holloway as parts of the future of the franchise, but Broberg at $4 million right now. That's dicey. I mean, we've signed a lot. Sorry, Tommy.
Okay, I'll allow
sorry, Maddie. I'm a season ticket holder. I can say we. Okay.
Okay. It's all good. Yeah.
But there's a lot of bad contracts, and in the past, and a couple in the present. And is that something, if we bring him back, that turns into one of those? And I think there's a pretty high likelihood that is a tough pill to swallow, especially when we go and look at re-signing McDavid, right? Mm-hmm. What is the Draisaitl contract going to look like? What is the Bouchard contract going to look like? Does this bite the Oilers in the ass? So I'm in the camp now where I'm okay to see him go.
81 games played, lifetime, 2 goals, 11 assists.
Who's that?
Philip Broberg. -5.
There you go. $4 million player?
4.5.
Yeah, 4.5. Is he? So where are you sitting right now?
Get these numbers.
I'd still ideally want both of them back on my roster next year, right?
But for that money.
Yeah. For that money.
Is that ideal?
No. And again,
I think that Broberg number is
about
too high.
Yeah.
But it's to me, the question with it is, it's not as much about the money as can you afford to lose this player long term? Because it's only 2 years.
There's
You
no
have to
one
get through
left in
2
the
years.
system.
So by the time
Yeah,
McDavid's
that's fair.
contract kicks in, that would be at the end of the 2 years.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because we're into the second last year of McDavid, last year of Draisaitl.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're there.
Yeah.
If he plays well, is he getting much of a bump from that?
His
cap-
cap,
as
his
well.
cap,
Like,
his
Of
cap
what,
is
of what we're expecting from a Philip Broberg.
guaranteed. His cap is going to push for well over that number if he plays well over these.
I don't
2
know
years.
if that he would stay as an RFA or a
Yeah.
UFA at that point. But okay, but that's also if he plays well through this year, let's say.
Yeah.
You could trade him.
Yep.
Now the
Yep.
trade can't happen immediately in
Until
July 1st or
August,
whatever.
yeah.
But you could then go trade him and get a piece for him
Yep.
still.
Yep.
If he
Yeah.
proves himself.
He's an asset.
Absolutely. And if he doesn't play well, you're walking from him in 2 years. But you've made if you can make the cap work for this season, the cap's going to be fine for next season in my mind.
Yeah.
Because Kane's contract will be gone no matter what next year.
Yeah.
Like if it's an LTIR this year, then they'll make a trade for
Yeah.
him because it's a modified no trade or whatever.
Yeah,
As of the
16
March 1st or
team.
something.
Yeah, something like that.
You could then move on from him. So there is I think it's if they could get under the cap this year, they're fine for next year as well. And Holloway would also be a free agent after that. So those monies come off the books.
Yeah.
And then you have to figure out to resign them and what that value is.
Yeah.
But I don't think Broberg now, he gets the 4, whatever. If he plays well through 2 years, I don't think he's all of a sudden a $10 million defenseman, an $8 million defenseman.
He's
probably a 5.
He think that though?
Well, his numbers will have to be
He
Evan
thinks he's
Bouchard's.
4.5. He thinks he's 4.5.
He doesn't
not-
think he's
taking that
4.5.
Someone
And the
offered it
Blues
to him.
don't think
Yeah,
he's
okay.
4.5.
Yeah.
The Blues,
Yeah.
because with the offer sheet, it's not what the player's worth. It's
Yeah.
what could we get for the contract
Yeah.
and put it as what level could we put it at where it makes the Oilers
Yeah.
not match
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
That also doesn't punish us.
Yeah.
Like that was the issue
That's
I think in
insane.
the past with the Oilers
It's
with
so
the
insane.
Dustin Penner and the Thomas
Yeah.
Vanek offer sheet. It was long-term contracts
Yeah.
too. It was 7 years. So if they didn't accept it, you're stuck with it for a long time. Here it's only 2 years even.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hermitage J says, as much as I like Holloway and Broberg, Vegas never cared about keeping their young guys, made some cutthroat decisions that seemed to work out for them. So maybe the Oilers should do the same instead of compounding their cap problems that are only going to get worse over the next couple of years.
I like that guy.
Hermitage J is very right. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Give
Golden
yourself
Knights
some
are-
flexibility later might be the
Yeah.
move because look at Vegas year in year out, they're adding guys at the deadline that make differences. So
And the Oilers are an
Cutthroat.
attractive team to play for. So it's not
Well,
like
not
Yeah.
according to not to these two. Just kidding.
yeah, but let's get some veterans that want to come and play here.
guys, that
I
just-
will
as
push
they did.
back on the Golden Knights thing. The Golden Knights though planned to move on from the young kids. The Oilers we're not planning to move on from Broberg and Holloway here. they were very much in the plans for this season.
Yeah.
So they're being forced into then making a decision to move on from these guys. The Golden Knights picked which young people they were ready to move on from.
Yeah.
They decided internally for a while okay, let's move on from this guy.
They blasted Cody Glass into the moon like he was their first ever pick. Like, see you later.
But they figured, we're going to blast him into the moon.
Yeah.
Here it's the Blues saying, do you want to blast these two into the moon? And the Oilers' hands are kind of tied where they have to make that decision.
Right.
Whereas they may not want to make that decision. They may look at these two guys and go, no, we have a lot of plans for these guys with this franchise.
I'm sure they do, yeah.
And it's just going to cause problems with the cap here. But that's where I don't fully go with the comparison of the Golden Knights, because it's not like the Oilers made a decision on June 30th. We can move on from these two.
No, but they made a decision to make other moves and left this till almost training camp time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
They did that to Ryan McLeod a couple of years in a row, and kind of a laissez-faire approach.
Just trust that nobody's going to use that RFA offer sheet, and now it bites you.
Yeah. Luke in Cowtown with an interesting text. 780-218-9999 if you want to text us. Luke in Cowtown says, so if you send down two defensemen, Brown at $1 million and Stetra at $0.7 million, one forward being Ryan at $0.9 million, and LTIR Kane, that gives you $7.8 million in cap room. Yes, that means you're starting the season with only the minimum roster, but it works. And that would be a third straight year where you're short-handed out of the gates to start a season. Remember they had to scratch Yamamoto at the first game of the year? He was kind of banged up, but that's a good point by Luke in Cowtown, but it's just like, really? Here we are again. Short roster.
We will get to these later in the Hangout, but just a little more on Nathan Rourke. Dave Naylor saying he made it no secret his desire to return to the BC Lions. He said it to him on a broadcast a few months ago. Also, it's a 3-year deal through 2026, so it's this year, next year, and the year after, and he might be able to start Sunday versus the Bombers.
Wow. Well, they need it, because watching that game on Sunday, Dolagala ain't it.
Well, there was talk of... Oh, and this is okay. Now there's a lot happening here. Nathan Rourke also. There was talk VA was maybe going to come back. Dave Naylor saying, according to the source, which is a name we've heard, the new owner of the Edmonton Elks is Larry Thompson, construction business, local, long-time season ticket holder.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, on Larry Thompson, owner of Thompson Constructions, which got sold over the last few years, I believe it was.
For a significant amount.
That's a good way of putting it. That's a good way of
It
putting
was
it.
a sum of money.
A large sum of money.
Yeah, it's one where we've said that whoever the new owner of this team is going to have to take losses based on that sum of money. He'll be good with
that. Doesn't hurt.
It's not going to hurt that. I'm sure any loss though hurts to those men, but not significant for what he has. I believe the Thompson group. There's a few brothers in there, or there's at least two, but it's Larry Thompson who is buying this team. Expect an announcement officially from the Elks and an unveiling later on this week. So those are the other things we will get to here on the EST Hangout live on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. Gazzola, Iwanyk with you here. Also, Ty and Davin from Green Plan is
and Northern Edge.
And Northern Edge, thank you.
Northern Edge Athletics boost there. But, hey, one thing, actually, this was in the Nasties chat. Andrew E., that Brown bonus hurts just a little bit more now. Like, that's a dagger. It does.
Yeah.
The Brown bonus does hurt a little bit more.
The penalty, as Matthew Iwanyk so aptly described it as last fall.
Yeah.
See, but I pulled back on the penalty.
Right?
Because he produced in the playoffs.
Oh, it was amazing.
And that's where it's like...
It was such a beautiful
So
thing.
what would I put this one?
It was.
I wouldn't go as far as a penalty anymore, but it's not a
It
bonus.
was funny when you did call it that. And
it's in the middle now. It's the consequence. I don't know. I gotta refund. Well,
he's just dialing back.
He produced in the playoffs, so it's like it's now no longer a bonus. It's got it, but I won't go as far as the penalty. It's in between now.
It's earned.
Right word.
It's earned.
Yeah.
Right. He didn't earn it,
but it hurts.
It definitely hurts.
Does
and that's
hurt
when
right
Andrew's like, yeah.
They're still paying James Neal this year.
Man.
I think you're right.
I mean, we could go back to that too.
I can't go to Kemp.
The pig, Jack Campbell.
I was so excited when they signed Lucic. Like, I remember I was driving in my truck all by myself. I think I was on my way out to St. Paul area to do God knows what in a little piece of water. That's what we do at Green Plan. Hang out in water. But I remember punching the roof of my truck, like, yeah, Lucic, and
year and a half.
little did we know at the time, right? Yeah,
Dusty's
get
got
with the
this-
time,
Thanks
Dusty.
for listening to the Hangout,
Yeah,
Dusty.
Dusty.
We talked about it a while ago.
You're big leaguing.
Yeah, we talked about it a while ago. A 3-year deal through 2026. He might start this weekend. And Dave Naylor says Larry Thompson is the source, or his according to sources, Larry Thompson, the owner of the Elks.
Well, yeah, we knew that.
I know,
Yeah,
but that's
we've known that for
now out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just, I'm assuming you didn't see that one
I got
either.
a CFO call going on right now.
Well, they're going to talk about Nathan
Dusty.
Rourke.
Very exciting.
I've also put in a waiver claim in my junior. I'm ready for Nathan Rourke.
You're behind, man. About an hour ago.
I'm Eric and McCord are ahead of me. I'm hoping one of them
Play
does.
this week?
They say he might play this week.
I'm doing that game.
Yeah, you are.
Boom.
Let's
There
go.
you go.
Nice.
Let's go.
Awesome.
You can talk
Awesome.
about where you were when you heard the news.
Watching the
I'm
Hangout.
here.
Well behind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well
sorry, boys.
behind.
32 minutes ago. I was talking with Gager. We were.
It's only been
Hey, Dusty, did you know the Oilers, Broberg and Holloway had offer sheets from the Blues?
Well played.
Oh man.
Tommy, you're right. James Neal, 1.92, one more year. 1.1 for Jack Campbell. Actually, this is where it gets interesting for the Oilers. Again, it's 2.3 next year, 2.6 the year after. Back to 1.5 for Jack Campbell's cap hits for the years that are to come.
They
So
tried to trade Campbell, but the price was steep. They really tried.
Fair enough. It's good that Campbell's got himself a fresh start somewhere.
Detroit,
Yeah.
just like Cam Talbot.
yeah, the graveyard of Oiler goaltenders now.
like,
All
what's
of a
going
sudden
on?
this
Detroit
season.
has 4 goalies on the roster. You're
Yeah.
like, what are you
Let him
doing?
play. You know,
Sure.
it's good that we don't have to sit on that we.
I'll let it go today.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You are a season ticket holder.
Thank you. I know. I just
Yeah.
wanted everyone to know.
I appreciate that.
No, it's just, it's ingrained, man. When you're not in broadcasting, it's so easy to just be a part of it, right?
I know.
And I feel sad for you that you can't feel like you're a part
Don't
of
feel.
it.
I'm
do.
more than okay with it.
No.
Gene Principe taught me very
Yeah.
early on.
And he's a smart man to listen
He's
to.
a brilliant broadcaster. Yeah.
Yeah,
And a great
absolutely.
person.
Absolutely.
Him and Jack doing tennis this
Very
past
well,
week
too.
or whatever it was.
Yeah.
They were doing National Bank Open. It's
Yeah.
called
Oh,
now.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, on Sportsnet.
No doubt.
Everyone was so
I was
focused
all
on the
Olympics.
Olympics.
That's all I did.
But
Yeah.
they were doing. Gene was hosting. Jack
Yeah.
was calling it.
Call, yeah.
They
Oh,
were
that's
doing tennis.
amazing. Yeah, because Jack's a big tennis guy, isn't he?
Yes.
I did
Yeah,
not know
that's
that.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
is.
is a big tennis guy.
Bukowski is hosting as well.
Was
Oh
he?
my
Yeah,
gosh.
Bukowski. That's a great dynamic there.
That would be so fun to
Yeah.
watch.
Good dudes all around.
Yeah, yeah.
No, we had the Olympics though. It took up a lot of time. Farhan also saying just don't expect VA to go anywhere this season. The plan isn't simply to hand over the job to Nathan full time. VA's earned the respect of everyone in the organization. But he's gone next year.
How do you not?
As for the offseason, I've said before, all 9 teams would have interest in Nathan. I think at least 6 would have interest in VA. Calgary should have interest.
Hamilton.
Hamilton would definitely have interest. I think Ottawa should have interest, depending on Drew Brown.
Is Chad Kelly going to be back?
He's they
shrouded
initiated
in
the
mystery.
review this week. The
Yeah,
CFL
yeah,
announced,
yeah,
so we'll
yeah.
see. But as long as they have Chad Kelly, I don't think they would do anything. Montreal's not doing anything.
No.
I don't think Toronto or Saskatchewan would do anything right now. Well, maybe from
Because
Trevor Harris.
This is his last year of his deal.
Yeah.
He's old. He's like 38 now.
Shea Patterson they've got though.
That's
they
prime
really
age
like
though,
him.
the CFL, isn't it?
No, just prime age in general, as
Just
we
so.
know. But
So,
And then
why,
to me, the Elks should not have interest in VA.
why didn't Nathan Rourke?
Why didn't,
Why didn't he get? Why didn't? Yes, that's exactly it. Why didn't it work for him? You know, I understand
Canadian.
in Jacksonville. I understand why it didn't work in Jacksonville. Like, no chance, right?
yeah,
But it looked like there might have been a chance in New England when he went there for
New
that.
England made a couple moves in the offseason, bringing
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
two rookie quarterbacks.
It
and
just man, the poor guy. Like
to Canadian quarterback coming
Yeah.
from the Canadian Football
Yeah.
League, where
he made a mockery out of the preseason games he played, though.
preseason though, I always say
well-
how many Oilers players have done so well in preseason when we get to the
Anton
regular
fair.
season?
Ty Ratty.
You got any more? Got
Patrick
any more?
Thorson.
Hey.
Yeah.
Brandon Perlini.
Okay,
Yeah.
more.
there's-
Okay, yeah, okay.
And then the
Yeah,
regular
pile it
season
on,
comes.
pile it on.
Yamamoto in his first training
Okay,
camp.
okay, I
And
won't
they kept
defend
him for
him
9
anymore.
games.
Okay.
But so that's where
Yeah.
I always go.
Okay,
with
Nathan
preseason's
Rourke is
one
terrible
thing.
then.
No, it's
That's
not, but
what I'm getting
it's
at.
also
Okay.
like
He did great.
think of how many quarterbacks there are.
But
And
I
you could
totally
go get
agree.
a non-Canadian.
Yes. Okay, so that's
a
the
big part
answer.
of it.
The
It's a
Canadian
big
thing.
part of it.
Yeah.
He's
That's too
getting, like,
bad
that's-
because he was that brief stint in preseason fun to watch. 4-down ball. It was fun to watch him play. But it's good to have him back in the CFL. I think it does a lot. What do you guys think it does for the CFL?
Well, I mean, we're talking about like all the injuries at quarterback, and last year especially, we're talking about like this used to be such a quarterback-defined league, and it's kind of lost its way a little bit. I think that this might reestablish that a little bit.
Yep.
And then I think the other thing too, especially with watching Trey Ford have success, hopefully he's good to go by this week,
no
maybe
doubt.
next week. I think it also shows that young Canadian kids who want to play football professionally, NFL, CFL, more likely CFL for a lot of them, especially at quarterback or skill positions, there's a chance.
Yep.
And I think that's important. I think that's good to have.
The CFL to me this year, we got to a point where I went, there's not a lot of great quarterback play right now. There was VA, and then there was a drop-off.
Totally.
And then Cody Fajardo was good, but then he got hurt. So it was like those two. But Chad Kelly, he's suspended. He's not playing. Zach Collaros is older. Trevor Harris got hurt. McLeod Thompson wasn't doing it here. Like, across the board, it wasn't great play.
Mayor,
And it's like, but now you bring Nathan Rourke back, and it's okay now.
And you got Trey Ford, like you said. Hopefully he's back. But
Trey Ford comes in. He looks great.
Absolutely, looks
Nathan
great.
Rourke comes in. It means next year VA somewhere else.
Yep.
You have Cody Fajardo. If Chad Kelly stops being an idiot and just figures his life and goes like, don't be stupid and stop doing stupid things, he could be a great quarterback in this league.
He'd be a great dad.
It's,
You know, that's how I talk to my son all the time. Just don't do stupid things.
Go look at his everywhere he's been. He's done something ridiculously stupid. And it's like, look at the talent you have, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you could have an amazing career and you could be a star.
What's the
in
latest
Toronto.
thing he did? I'm so far removed
the
from
reason
that.
he's suspended is that the harassment of a female employee of the
he's
Argos.
a cool dude. Yeah.
And he kept like trying to invite her to things, and she's
cool.
like, well,
Yeah.
like I'm not interested. And he kept pushing it, and then the Argos fired her, and there was a wrongful termination suit that was all involved in this.
Wow, CFL.
Like there's
Not
like
the CFL in general, but
No. You could go to the league and go to the league. How they handled this all was
Holy
also like
smokes.
you really handled this very poorly, Toronto and CFL. But that's where it's like there's always these things where you're like,
Yep.
just screw off. Like
Yeah.
there's a question. Like honestly, should he even play in the Canadian Football League
Stop
again? It's
hurting
honestly-
yourself. Like
yes.
you're hurting yourself. Help
But-
build your brand.
But so that's where it's like, okay, now if Nathan Rourke comes back, maybe we see the talent pool of the quarterback
Exactly.
come up. Because
that's what people watch.
And
You
it's
want to
NFL
watch
too.
that talent. That's exactly
it's
it.
the NFL too. There was a
And
couple
so in
years
the
ago where
CFL
we had poor NFL quarterback play again down there, and it was like you got your elites.
Yep.
But then there's a big drop off.
Yep.
And you need it. You need most teams to have a strong quarterback, and then the
Absolutely.
entertainment is going to be there.
Absolutely.
So that's what I think Nathan Rourke.
I
brings. He
watched the
brings
CFL
talent.
when Rourke was playing. Sorry, I don't watch the CFL. But the Elks just haven't been until now. I know what's going on and
You
I
haven't been
follow
good.
what's
Why?
happening.
You don't like missing the playoffs year in a year and not hosting home playoff games and not being good since 2006, basically.
I enjoyed cheering for the Oilers when they were losing. I don't have it in me to do it again for another team, right? But I will say a guy like Trey Ford has piqued my interest.
He got an ovation going in for the first series of the game. I'm like,
because
whoa.
the fans that are still there are smart.
Yes.
They know. They understand what was happening.
Yeah.
But even take the understanding what's happening, he's just more exciting to watch.
But that's
yeah.
but that's
McLeod
part, that's part of
Thompson
it. That's
Uh,
part of it.
McLeod Thompson could be a great quarterback.
Yeah.
And the Elks could be 7-0, and people would be thrilled with 7-0. But he's not a sexy quarterback with what you're watching. That's like I'm not saying that the Elks fans.
No,
would
if
take
you're
the 7-0.
winning-
But if you're just looking at the quarterback play, like MBT playing at his best, it's still meh. Trey
flat.
Ford playing at his best,
Yeah.
it's get out of your
Yeah.
seat.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah. You're watching MBT. It's Kirk Cousins,
Yeah.
right? He's gonna make a pass.
Who's your NFL team? Do you have one?
Bangles.
Oh.
But I've been a Bengals.
I don't think I have to ask.
I'm actually allowed to say the we as an owner of the Packers. Part
Oh,
of that,
you've got your shares.
Part of that distinction.
Really?
I got my shares at my house. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Big
So-
time.
Are you framed?
Oh yeah, absolutely
love
framed.
that.
Got
How many
my dad's
shares?
Framed. Just one share.
That's
one
all you
share.
need.
That's all you need
for the one.
Absolutely.
More than enough for me to claim the we.
Do you get a vote? do you vote?
We do get a vote package in August. We can go to the shareholder meeting.
Wow.
Get a bunch of.
That's so cool.
Haven't done it yet, but we'll have to see.
That's
One of
pretty
these
neat.
years.
Big Maple had the when you were saying I'm a season ticket holder. He goes, "It reminds me of Ari Gold and Entourage. I paid $3,000 for these seats, and I'll get out there and launch a 3-ball if I want."
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. And the price of beer, man, keeping that place afloat.
You should get the call to figure out what's going on with Broberg and Holloway. You should get a decision in this. Should be surveyed by the season ticket holders.
We all should be, right?
Just survey monkey this out there to all the season ticket holders. Do we match Broberg? Do we match Holloway? Yes, no, yes,
hey,
no.
at least that shows they care, right? That would show they care.
That would actually be quite funny.
It would be amazing.
if an organization
Yeah,
did that
yeah.
at some point with like some sort of decision.
Oh, man.
But yeah. So
Speaking on organizations, I hear your organization has more beer in the fridge or
Do you
two
need-
hoots.
Are you thirsty?
Would you
Is
like
that, are
two?
those full?
What can I get you?
yes.
2 hoots.
So the reason, whenever there's 2 in here, it's because the one's about to end, and we got the second one
Because
ready to
they're
go. 'cause
the
we never
main
wanna watch.
beverage.
The official drink of the EST Hangout. It is 2 hoots. Real brew tea, bold refreshment,
Yeah.
big taste. Don't just give a hoot. Give 2.
Well, I'm gonna.
Would you like some 2 hoots?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Not to interrupt the great conversation. we're
No,
having
this
here.
is
All
the
good.
beauty of the Hangout.
Cracking it.
Yeah, there we go. Pour whatever you need in there, and if you want some, let us know. And we've got.
Ty, you want some?
Yeah, we'll grab a glass.
Do you have-
You have a cup?
Hey,
I'll go
Zach!
I'll go get one.
What about the host? The hosts have to join.
I gotta finish my coffee, and then I jump in.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
almost out.
Makes sense.
We gotta get into this. Yeah, no. See, that one comes close to an end,
Yeah.
and then when I know it's coming close, I
Yeah.
put the other one in because these go in the fridge after every show.
Oh, they're still cold.
Because then they
You
come
guys-
out for the
yeah.
show, and then they go back in the fridge. I'm not putting warm drinks in front of us.
You're.
What is
That's
this?
why you're good at what you do.
This
That's why
is-
you make 10 mil a season, right?
I just gotta figure where now the spout is on this guy, and then there we go. So
2 hoots.
jump in on that 2 hoot. You just gotta pull this tab off.
Get in there, Ty
somewhere. Yeah, it's the official drink of the EST Hangout 2 hoots. Hard iced tea. We'll get that off right away.
It's
There
the official
we go.
drink of great conversation.
It just
know?
goes down so
It-
well.
it
It's
does.
so smooth, and it's
I didn't have my breakfast iced tea yet, so usually I always start my day.
Better.
there was a lot happening today, so I'm just for anyone that's just tuning in to the Hangouts. What have we had today that's happened? We've had Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway sign contracts with the St. Louis Blues. They've signed them to offer sheets. The Oilers have 7 days to match Philip Broberg a little over $4 million. It'd be a second-round pick in compensation if the Oilers choose not to match. Dylan Holloway a little over $2 million. It'd be a third-round pick if the Oilers decide not to match. The Edmonton Elks and the CFL boards, respectively, have approved new ownership for the Double E, which is Larry Thompson, who's a local businessman from, I believe, the Spruce area, Thompson Construction. And Nathan Rourke has signed with the BC Lions through 2026, and VA is going nowhere this season. That's all that has happened over the last few hours.
That's it?
Nothing
That's
big.
it. That's
So,
it.
do you think they sign Draisaitl to an extension this week before they figure out Broberg
No.
and Holloway? Hey? What's more important now, right? That would be
Well, the
amazing
clock's
here.
ticking on the one.
Yeah.
Well, if you what you always do, unless the Oilers, there's the 2 ways you go about this. You either immediately, right away, over the next 24 hours, say we're matching, just as a definitive, we're done,
They
or you
already had
wait
it in
7
their
days.
back pocket, yeah.
You wait till the very end to just make the Blues have to wait.
Yeah, I'd make them sweat for sure.
That's
Yeah,
the way you go no matter what.
yeah. Or
So-
you want to make the player feel like you really want them? I guess. Yeah, that's tough.
Well,
Poor guys.
it also, if you wait the 7 days, it allows you to maneuver maybe if you want to try to find a trade.
There's some
for
decisions,
cap
yeah.
situation there.
Yep.
Maybe that impacts yours. They sit there and they look at a Cody Ceci and go, is there that right trade
Yep.
to dump this contract where we don't have to throw something else in? If we could find that trade, then definitely we're matching. Or maybe that's
There's some
their
phone
decision
calls
where
to-
then
to
also
be
it's
made, yeah.
if we can't trade Cody Ceci, then we're only gonna we'll go to plan B, which is match one, let one walk, or whatever it is. So we'll have to
Yep.
wait and see and
Yep.
which way they plan on going with it. As for Draisaitl, I don't think there was a rush
No.
before the season anyways.
No.
So I don't think now there would be. The only rush I would say is to just give the fans something excited about.
Yeah.
After a little
Yep.
bit of panic today, maybe. Would we say there's panic with Oiler fans today?
Maybe. Some of them overreact, but I don't know.
I don't know. Did you panic? Like, I'm not panicked.
I think
I'm not
this
panicked
is
at
a
all.
situation you'd let play out for a little bit. You take
You
your
have
time
to.
and make a decision.
We
You
have
can't
7 days, like you
knee-jerk
said.
it.
We have 7 days. Figure it out. One way or another, we're still going to be able to watch one of the greatest teams in the NHL right now. With or without those guys.
They do have 7 days. That is correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So
they do.
don't panic. They got time. Take your time. Sit back. Relax. Grab a 2 hoots. Or 4. Maybe a whole box.
A whole box.
Toss a straw in. Sip it up.
Yeah.
Right?
Delicious.
It'll play out how it will. And I think if they walk, the team is still a fantastic
Still a
team.
good team. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Jasmine also in the nasty chat, soon to be regular co-host on the Hangout. 4 dudes on the Hangout, and you're not gonna discuss the Vogue spread of McDavid's wedding.
Oh, Jasmine.
I'm just kidding. Don't, Maddie. Address the elephant in the room. Vogue. That was
What
actually
is it?
the other thing that was happening today. I was seeing it on
Vogue.
Twitter as I was scrolling through things. The McDavid wedding photos are starting to come out. It looks like they sold it to Vogue and stuff. So that's all happening. It's kind of getting buried behind some other news. I haven't looked fully.
I'm looking right now.
They look good?
I didn't know.
I think one thing I saw was Lauren had 4 dresses she wore. Was it 5 dresses?
Maybe 6. We don't know. We'll
It
never
was 4
know.
or 5.
I just
No,
don't
I saw it in a number.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember if it was 5 or 4. I'm forgetting. Maybe I'm thinking 4 because of Broberg. Or maybe I don't know. There was a few dress changes, which I don't understand why there's dress changes and stuff at a wedding. I've never understood when I see that with celebs.
Because there's different events, you know. You got to have your athletic one on for the flower bouquet toss, for the first dance. You know, they got to have another one for when you're doing a shot ski, right? Like there's
Actually?
different things going on. Absolutely. I have no idea.
I did notice,
No
and I
idea.
have seen Connor was wearing a white dinner jacket.
So he had suit changes.
Well, dinner jacket change.
To bring it up.
I've seen that before. I know of it. Oh, very nice. She looks great.
Yep.
He looks dapper.
That's
Okay,
your search
he's
history.
got it
Okay,
there.
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess.
Couple texts coming into the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Just keep Broberg, let Holloway go. This team can't afford to lose D-man. Broberg looked awesome in the playoffs.
Yep.
Bison Mask guy. I'm on the flip side of Broberg and Holloway. I think we could learn a thing or two from Dallas not having enough depth. There's still a bunch of guys like 24-year-old Zendine, Lorentz, Barry, Van Riemsdyk. Take the 2 picks, send them with Cody Ceci, get upgraded there. If not, all hell in water. Oilers just have to get creative now. That's coming from Bison Mask guy. Looney Len, the problem with signing Broberg is then you've just exponentially made the price for defensemen so much higher across the board going forward.
That's what we're good at, though.
But
We're really good at that.
I don't think it does because it's an offer sheet. I think that's always part of the negotiations is that.
But do players look at it that way? Like,
but also,
you know,
I think in negotiations you can, but also who does it make it higher for? This doesn't impact Evan Bouchard. Evan Bouchard's impacted by Darnell Nurse.
Yep, that's true.
So who does this impact when it comes to the Oilers and defensemen moving forward?
Yeah. It's a nice dress. Sorry, we're looking at dresses.
No, that's fine.
Thanks,
We're
Jasmine.
We're looking at the Vogue
Yes.
spread.
Thanks,
all of a
Jasmine.
sudden. Very nice.
Well, Jasmine's very excited that we were looking at it.
Yeah. Oh, he doesn't look like he needs surgery.
She also says
Well,
fashion
happy
tips
and
for the
healthy he
Estes.
is.
Are you sending any for us, Jasmine? Actually, we got to get to the Estes.
Well, tequila.
The ST, September 17th. Tickets and all that info coming very shortly, so stay tuned to Edmonton Sports Talk for that.
Nice. That was
We
fun.
do have to
Enjoyed
talk
that.
about 2 quick categories
Yes,
today.
I heard about
the
this
2
this morning
categories
on the morning
today. One of the categories for the Estes will be Guest of the Year, Best Guest on Edmonton Sports Talk, which excludes the Hangout.
Right.
I know the boys brought up Bruce Boudreau today as one. Luke Gazdic would be one. I think Chris Pronger was pretty
Oh, yeah. That was
solid
good.
when they had them. They had the Sutter brothers on.
Sutter
I
brothers.
missed
are
that
great.
one. Yeah.
They're
They're always good, though, like in anything they do, for sure.
Yeah.
Very pleasant people.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else they would have had that would have been top guests.
Oh, man.
I'm going to call Dusty out a little bit right now. He never said Glenn Suter.
Wow,
And they're
I
supposed
thought
to
they
be
were
best friends.
Yeah, so, yeah,
They're supposed to
exactly.
be best friends, and
I worked with
he-
them this week, and I couldn't even get a word in.
Yeah,
They're so tight.
But he doesn't
Yeah,
on his
just
show. He doesn't
elbowing
even
you all
throw
day,
out his
yeah.
best friend for a Guest of the Year nomination.
Yep.
Which is just embarrassing by Dustin.
Maybe it'd be awkward, though, if he did.
Oh.
You
right?
talking about my best friend?
You didn't throw him as a nomination for guest of the year.
That's nepotism. He can't.
No, it's
We haven't even got to that yet. We were barely talking about it today. We had so much news.
but you did talk about it and you never threw out his name. You threw out Bruce Boudreau, who you wanted to be your
Somebody
best friend.
texted in Bruce Boudreau.
Filthy
Yeah, I
I can't
Bruce.
share all my own opinions on that.
Your best friend should have just come as one of the
I would
nominations.
assume he just was. I didn't think I need to bring it up because he might.
Well, if it's your
'cause
best,
he's my best friend.
if he was your best friend, you would have thrown his name out there. That's all I'm saying.
He should just be. It should just be assumed that my best friend.
You have
would be
not
me.
texted me that or said anything. Why would I
This
assume
is
that
really
he's your
awkward
best
here
friend?
right now. This is way too low.
No, it looks good. Looks good
Yeah.
from down
What
here.
do you think of Prongers or the Sutters
What?
as nominations? When you had the Prongers and the Sutters, separate times.
No, they weren't good.
I mean,
Fair.
hey,
Be honest,
hey,
we
you're
had
They're not.
we had
You've
better
had
you're
better.
big, but you're
You've
not
had
that
better.
big.
Yeah, you've had better. You're saying.
Yeah.
You don't say not good. You've had
No,
better.
the Prongers. Yeah, I guess they were actually pretty good, but they're not ST worthy. That's all. I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's
That's
like-
fair.
Yeah,
Brian
Neither
Burke
is Suits,
yeah.
apparently.
Yes, he is.
You never said that.
I'll fly him out here to
I-
that ST.
I'm the one that had to bring up Suits, not you.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
He's
all
so
flustered.
obsessed.
Dusty's about to cry a little bit
No,
here
it's
because he
not.
got called out about his best friend.
Oh,
He's
are
about
ya?
to cry.
Hey, Nathan Rourke signed. Also, draft of the year, best EST draft performance, which I have to kind of throw this out there because somebody
Oh man,
brought it in. Is this overall draft of performances of the year, or is this singular
Singular.
drafts? And I was thinking singular drafts.
the movie draft in general was one of the movie prop draft in general was one of the greatest drafts I've ever watched. So if draft
One
someone
person
doesn't
won.
watch,
A big somebody that was the three-peat, wasn't it?
right? And honestly, good for you.
Thank you.
I thought some other guys did better. That's just my opinion. Doesn't matter. The
That's
people
just your
spoke.
opinion. You just said
The
it,
people spoke.
Yeah, and they chose their
But
champion.
he was sitting there Googling. He's like, the Elder Wand? What? The Elder One.
yeah,
Right,
I didn't know what that. I've never
yeah.
seen Harry Potter.
And people loved it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's-
They were sitting at home cheering. Just that's what one
I
of
heard
the
the
guys.
applause across the city.
Yeah, exactly.
Why
Yeah.
didn't anyone take what was his the Nardwall from
Oh man, from
Step
Elf.
Elf, yeah, like
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
that's
is
the
a
one.
good one.
Yeah, that was a brilliant pick. I would say.
Yeah, I was surprised it took so long to get the third boob from Fifth Element for the prosthetic
Dusty
category.
went like full sex
Yeah,
motif and
yeah.
it just backfired.
Yeah, he got the Step Brothers nutsack.
Yeah.
He got the what was the
There was a few other ones in there, yeah.
whatever. But anyways, off topic.
3 in a row.
3 in a row. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'd say Tommy then.
Thank
Best
you.
draft performance. If he won that one,
But now
that was
it's yeah.
the
so-
draft to
yeah.
end all drafts. I would say that.
So we're because
If you're
I feel like sticking with singular, like
Yeah,
in
so
the
I'd
single
give it to him.
performance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tommy would have a couple nominations
Yeah,
possibly.
yeah.
I've won 3 of 5.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
well, then it's easy.
Let's pick one of my champions.
so is it
Yeah.
like so? Is the nominations only the winners of each draft?
I think you should have the best draft performance.
I never
when you
drafted.
exited as commissioner.
That is one of the categories. We do have a category later on that is best walkout.
Yeah, there you go.
So there is that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
also that one. It will be part of. We have 4 major categories, like the Grammys of
Sure.
best, record of the year, album of the year, song of the year, and all that. One of them is moment of the year.
Oh, nice.
I have a lot for moments of the year. Me resigning and walking out is
Yeah.
one of the moments
That
of the
was-
year.
Yeah.
There's a few others.
Tommy
So
Tommy
but-
getting lots of hugs
but-
at the golf tournament.
Oh,
That was fun.
Lots of hugs. It was good.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Tommy
we
was,
got
a
nobody-
happy, Tommy was a happy guy though.
Nobody was inebriated at the golf tournament.
0 drinks consumed.
Myself included.
So yeah, yesterday it was show of the year. We discussed exit of the year from an EST event. Today, guest of the year and draft of the year. So if you have any nominations for that, throw them our way. 780-218-9999. That's the Paris Jewelers inbox. Or jump into the nasty chat. Actually, tomorrow's category is going to be a lot of fun to discuss. It looks like here. We only have one to discuss tomorrow because it is it's one of the major 4.
Ooh.
But it's an open one. Like the show of the year that we discussed, it's just the shows that we have. There's
Yeah.
nothing. There's
Yeah.
no other nominations.
Yeah.
This other one's gonna. I think some people will have some good nominations when it comes to that. So we will get to that. And I don't know. Fun size Andrea was in the nasty chat.
Oh, Andrea! Hi, Andrea!
One, she did text saying, "I know that voice." She also adds in the nasty chat, "Can't recommend Northern Edge Athletics enough."
Oh, thanks, Andrea. Every Sunday she's there.
Yeah.
Her so Jason plays in the league that happens there at Argyle Arena every Sunday, And that's the only time I'm there at Northern Edge is Sunday evenings. And so Andrea comes, instead of watching her husband play hockey, she comes and hangs out with me and runs the till sometimes. So we really, really
so
appreciate.
she just comes and
Andrea.
works.
Oh yeah, she hangs out. I give her beer, whatever. She's
That works.
yeah, she's awesome. Her and Jason are awesome people. So
Andrea wants to know when tickets become available for the ST.
It's gonna be very soon.
Okay.
Like if it's not today, it'll be tomorrow. So I just got to finalize some things. It'll be $10. Very quick, very easy. I designed the tickets, so I've got that ready to go.
Of course you
Nice.
did.
I want something to send to people, and a reminder. It will be a black tie, like
I'm going
formal.
I'm going
It needs.
tux.
It's
Yeah.
formal.
do it.
Are
Are you gonna go bow tie
And bow tie.
Yeah. Nice.
I haven't worn that bad boy in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll have time. Well, you have a tux.
Yeah.
I'd have to go rent a tux.
It's like a
No,
velour.
come
like,
on, COO.
jacket, too.
You make COO money. We just discussed 10 mil a year. Buy a
Yeah.
tux.
Yeah.
Let's start a go. If you're not going to do it, we'll start a GoFundMe.
Oh, I've
With
got a
the
GoFundMe
nasties
going for the
to
Spirit
get-
of Edmonton right
That's
now.
right.
Oh,
So
nice,
jump in on
nice.
that one. Well, the Spirit of Edmonton, they need some cash.
Yes.
Oh, they do, eh?
If they don't get
Sponsors.
some extra cash or sponsors, they won't see 2025
This is
fully.
their
So
50th year right now. And
there is a
Yeah.
GoFundMe. It's pinned
let's
to
make
my
it happen.
Twitter account. So if you go to @Matthew Iwanyk on Twitter, it's right there. I'm getting some funds for Spirit of Edmonton. We're in their 50th year. They're going to BC. They're going to have a good time.
Awesome.
Although I had to scale it back a little bit for BC, as Jerry said on the Hangout a few weeks ago. But they need to get some cash to keep going moving forward. So the money, instead of
Yeah.
a tux for me,
Yeah.
money could go to Spirit
Absolutely.
of Edmonton. This is the EST Hangout. Portions of this hour brought to you by the High Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk, promotional products that bring them buzz. Check them out, thehighproductmarketing.com.
guest of the year from this texter says Reed Wilkins in Smash Smash at the Nasty Bash.
Reed Wilkins is such a beauty.
Well, that's not a guest of the year
All right.
because that's not on EST.
Yeah.
What could that fall into?
Moment of the year.
Like guest
I would
appearance
maybe
or
throw that
surprise
as
appearance.
moment of the year.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
An Edmonton Sports Talk moment of the year, or maybe there needs to be an added category of like moment at an EST event, because there's a few that I could throw in on that one.
Yeah.
There was when Renee threw the football through the cans at Century Casino.
Oh, and yeah.
Well, the TV broke.
The TV
it,
broke.
It was there and it needed to be replaced, and it wasn't good. But that kind of could be a moment of an event.
Absolutely should, yeah. Because then you have nominations, right? And
Yeah.
just to like reflect back on those events.
And then,
Before
but then
you choose a winner, it'd be
Smash
fun.
Smash could be there. Smash Smash, the unveiling of Reed would have to be there.
Oh man.
There'd be also Zach walking up as Smash Smash the first time at the EST Golf Classic. So there's a few that could come from the events and things like that.
that golf
Also,
tournament.
the Memphis Mad Dogs of my CFL Fantasy League, which is Lieutenant Eric, is quote tweeted the Rourke saying, "We're aggressively monitoring this situation." Damn it! Eric's gonna get Nathan. He gets priority. He's got first priority this week, and
How about old Redbeard chiming in saying full dress kilt for awards night is guaranteed?
So he was actually old Redbeard.
Yeah.
That would be my nomination for guest of the year. That guy would come on.
Beer of the week.
It was amazing.
Best.
oh, he falls well into that
I
category.
really, really enjoyed him.
I'm gonna have to.
Sweet.
I have to write that down quickly, otherwise
Yeah.
I am going to forget it.
Yeah.
But that is an excellent nomination
Yeah.
for guest of the year.
That would be my first, yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
Redbeard. Okay, there we go.
Jay to the ROC on the Hangout is a great guest of the year.
Hangout's out of it
Hangout's
because
a
it's
different
its own
yeah.
category. There will
Yeah.
be a specific
It's its own
Hangout
beast.
guest of the year.
That
Yeah.
show is wild.
Because we've had a lot of things. That show is going to be up for quite a few awards.
And
I'll just
Alex-
say
Which
it
one
right
was
now.
that? I didn't watch that one.
Tommy got Jonathan Terens and Alice Moran
Yeah.
to come out to our condo,
Condo.
and we're on our lobby, like our amenities floor, because they were at the Oilers practice.
Yeah.
And so it was me, Tommy, and Gager just start for an hour, and then Tommy brought those two up, and it was the two of them with Gager and Tommy. That it was just an hour of listening to Torrance and Alice make us laugh.
Unbelievable.
They were hilarious. I don't know which one was better between the two.
Oh, they were. So
I think there's an
funny.
argument. I think Jonathan Torrance gets the love for the name recognition.
Yeah.
But I think
Oh,
Alice
man.
was better.
She was hilarious
Dude,
and
Jono Vision was, I mean,
great show.
that was my upbringing, man.
Yeah.
it was amazing.
It was on at like 4 on
Yep.
CBC, so
Yep.
right after school.
Yep.
And he would hit it on every. I think he had like some 41 on there
Yep.
before they hit it big. He had the Degrassi reunion. He had, who did he have? I think Ryan Reynolds was on there at one point, and he
It was
had
an
a lot of,
iconic show, like at that time, our age, right?
Yep.
How old are you, Maddie?
I'm 33.
33, yeah. So younger generation represented over here.
Damn
We'll,
right.
we'll take that one.
Ties
We'll
are
take that
Damn
one.
right.
What's that?
How old are you?
26.
26,
Okay,
but
yeah,
he's
so
I still
he's
get a
more
phone now and I'll
like
take
he's
that.
more like 33 in maturity.
Yeah,
we'll
except
take
for
that.
when he golfs in the EST Classic and decides he wants to do a 40-yard dash against one of his
parking
buddies
lot.
at 1 in the morning.
I heard the story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. He's tarps off, right?
Tarps off. Tarps
Well
off.
done.
Dive for the finish.
Well done.
Still healing.
Yeah, I was about to ask, are you
Yeah.
healed up?
Most of the way. Not mentally. It's going to
been
take a
over a
while.
month.
The scars are still there in my head, but
It was raw.
Wow.
I'm getting ready for next year already.
Okay.
He
Lots of
texted me
time.
the next day, hey, sorry, Swifty, I can't make it into work today. Like I tripped last night and I scraped up, and then I called my buddy Estienne, who he was with. No. The idiot dove for the finish line
tried to
because
give
we
the nice
decided
work
to do a
answer,
race.
the safe one.
Yeah.
Above board.
Yeah. So
I respect that. Good effort.
yeah. All in the name of EST. Anyways.
That's what happens when you have a libation or two. And speaking of which, going into the Jonathan Torrens, Alice Moran hangout, as I went to go get them from the arena, my good friend Scott Dodds over at Honey Honey stopped us on the way in, and he's like, "No way!" He's like, "Is that J-Rock?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "This is Alice." He gave them a shot before we went up.
One of my favorite parts with the hangout is under amenity floor, there's a hot tub. And there's these like 3 people that walk through to go to hot tub and then come back. And I'm just thinking like they would have sat there and been like, why the hell is that Jonathan Torrens? Like, why the hell is Jonathan Torrens on our patio right now? And
His vice principal Chile, Noah Dick,
Oh,
J-Rock from Trailer Park Boys, talking to those guys.
what is happening right now on our amenities floor?
They did like the long like
Yeah.
what the heck is going on here?
No, it was more Tommy though.
No,
It was Tommy.
I think I heard the lady say, "Was that Joaquin Gage?"
Yeah, he's a big deal.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah.
I want to get to Road Warriors, which is brought to you by AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers, custom manufacturing of heavy haul trailers, engineered frame repairs, no patch jobs, better than you solutions, trusted by the leaders in the heavy transport industry. Get on the road with peace of mind for your larger loads. AccuSteel.ca, the Edmonton Elks, they'll be headed on the road this weekend as they go to take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Still waiting for a status of Trey Ford as they are off today, if I'm not mistaken. Just double checking. They are off today. They back at practice tomorrow, so we'll get a status on Trey Ford. But by some accounts, I don't know if he'll be ready for Hamilton necessarily. But the news from the Edmonton Elks is new ownership as Larry Thompson, according to Dave Naylor, is going to be the new owner of the Edmonton Elks. They'll be announced this week, a name that Tommy, myself, Dusty, we've heard that name quite a bit over the last few weeks and stuff. You're not the biggest CFL guy, you said.
No.
Are you a big CFL guy?
No.
What
we listen
could
enough.
Larry Thompson, as the owner of the Elks, do to try to get you guys?
Win some football games,
Yeah.
right? Make decisions that make sense, that are about the team and aren't selfish to your own beliefs. And that's what you saw happening for a long time. I really like what they're doing with the tailgate.
Andrew and Jason are there.
Yeah,
Big
yeah,
parts of the
yeah.
team.
I know they are. Yeah, absolutely. But outside of that, I think it's just they have to win some games and bring some energy back. You look at what the Riverhawks are doing. I mean, that's fun. That's real local fun, and that's what the Elks games used to be, right? It was local fun. You would go, you'd watch a winning game, but you'd have some beers. But it was the place to be.
CW's bar was always packed.
Yep.
The north part of that stadium.
C-dubs.
It was always packed.
Yep.
Yep.
They
From
need-
start of the game to the end of the game. It's like people never left.
Yep.
It would be like 2 or 3 people deep.
Yeah.
All along the railing.
Yeah, yeah. They just have to win some games and bring some excitement back that way. I think, I don't know, Ty, what do you think?
Yeah, I think also the brand of football. I'm not a big CFL guy. I've watched 3 games this year, and 2 of them, Trey Ford was in it. That's why I wanted
Yep.
to watch.
Yep.
Check in the second half, you see the score updates, you see what's happening.
It's
and
fun to watch.
Highlights are coming across your phone, and I think having more of these event nights they're bringing in. I think that's a great idea.
Yep.
It's piqued my interest in checking out some more of these games. So
I wanted to ride that bull.
Hey, I almost got run over by the horse. I was like walking to the Lions sideline. I'm like, where are these horses coming from? What the heck is going on? I was so dialed in. I'm like, wow. So yeah, that was a fun night. Like it was a pretty exciting
Good
game.
event. Yeah.
The Elks played well.
Yeah.
Ford, we'll see what his status is, but he was making plays, and then actually, to MBT's credit, he went in there and
He was
got
good
the
QB
job
too.
done.
Yep. But they were running the ball more. Is what I right.
Devon Leake has put
Right,
together
so
a nice stretch here.
the game
And
script
Rankin
has
Jones,
changed.
Yeah, Rankin.
They're playing free football. It sounds like where it's the players can actually make decisions
Right.
more so than they did with Chris Jones. Because
Chris
there was a
Jones,
lot
yeah,
of dictation, like
There's a lot of control
this,
there.
this, and this.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not big on this conversation, but I know it's going to come up because I
Sorry.
believe it.
Sorry,
No,
we're trying our
that
best.
part,
No.
where I'm going.
Joke.
Does the name do anything? Because there is discussion, and I know Murray McCourt, VIP Golf Show, he said weeks ago, right here on the Hangout, that he heard that new owner was going to change the name to Esks.
Yep.
Does the name matter?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm very passionate about that one. But
Comes up a lot
yeah.
still.
With alumni, you guys know that.
I know with alumni, it's a
Oh,
big
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
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 With
Yeah.
some.
Yeah. I have some buddies that are alum, and that's a big thing that I've heard from them. And
it doesn't matter too much to me. I think another thing with the CFL is when you're looking at younger fan base and trying to get these guys into it, like the NFL has done so successfully in the last few years. I don't think going either way with the name makes a massive difference. I think Esks is fine.
I think that's cool.
I think it sounds cool. It's kind of got that in between. But
In between is a good way to describe it.
I think that's not the priority here.
Yeah.
I agree with that part. If they win, people are coming. They don't care about the name.
And they play fun football too.
Yes.
Right. Highlight reel football, like you said, scrolling through, seeing Trey Ford doing this and that, and whatever else. Nathan Rourke doing things like bring some excitement back to the CFL in Canada.
Yeah.
How much do you guys think a video game would help?
It'd be massive.
This guy's living on the college game. Living.
Oh,
on the
you have it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How's
James
it
Madison
been?
University is looking pretty good. Our fourth year in.
Yeah.
We're starting to get some 3- and 4-star guys in.
Okay.
We moved to the ACC. So
Nice.
it's a big move from the Sun Belt. No, it's a fun game. They did a fantastic job of that. So
He went to, he had to go to the field for a culvert crossing job. So
Yeah.
at Greenplan, like we do all kinds of stuff. And one of the things we do is we monitor the water quality when they isolate a water course and they have to pump it around. We capture the fish, relocate them that are within that little section. Then we monitor for turbidity. It's called. It's like sediment suspended in the stream.
I remember turbidity.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
science,
There you go.
there you go.
All right.
So this also just, this is an unknown location. We're not talking about who the client is or where it was, but there was a sewer line within the excavation that was supposed to be bypassed around, and the bypass broke and started leaking into the excavation. So Ty ended up staying there for a long time, out wherever he was. So he got a lot of time without the girlfriend. Back home at the hotel at
just
around
played the game.
4:30, 5 o'clock, and he
it.
just crushed the game. Like he was on a workcation. That's what I used to call it.
Well done.
Workations, man.
DMing recruits, sending the house.
Oh, you can
contacting
DM
our
people
friends,
and stuff?
family.
NIL
this
deals.
thing
All
is-
right.
Is there NIL in it?
There is NIL.
Really?
Yeah,
Smart.
a little bit.
Jeez.
It's more about building your brand image than anything. You don't
Yeah.
spend the dollars as a franchise, but
Football. Football game.
I think it would help.
That's a point.
CFL would help.
And
But
so.
somebody has created all the 9 teams for college. You could
Yeah.
download the
CFL.
So it's an
logos
add-on?
and stuff.
An add-on?
You could go, and you could download people's customized teams. And they've customized all 9 teams, and like nowadays with things, you could upload the files and stuff. So it's
But
got
it's
all the
not.
logos and
It's
stuff.
not promoted by the CFL.
No, 'cause
That's
it's
the
not
thing,
their
right?
thing.
here,
But you're like, because
get into something. Go ahead.
before, like
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me, one of the reasons I'm a big football's my favorite sport over hockey.
Right.
Was I played Madden religiously.
Yeah.
Love Madden.
And I knew every offensive line, like top offensive lineman across the National Football League, because I'm trying to make trades. And
Yeah.
I feel like my knowledge of the game was so much because I was watching all these players. But then I also wanted to watch football all the time. And I love the CFL. I love the Esks at the time and the Elks and all that. And I loved NCAA. But I think that was one of the biggest reasons why, as a kid, I fell in love with football, is because I was playing Madden so religiously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas for CFL, if you had that game that kids were playing, that might get them to being a fan.
Right.
Which I will
player on
pass down to you.
Notoriety and all that. So why I bring that up, and I know the CFL has struck out with EA Sports, who does Madden, obviously, and a Canadian guy, I think his name is David Winter, if I remember correctly. We had him on 1260 a few years ago. He created Maximum Football. He had worked for EA Sports and EA for a little bit, and it was rough. But it was he had his own studio, very small staff. They tried to they mocapped a bunch of college or youth sport players, and he did everything he could with the resources available to him. He eventually sold the game to a bigger company, and they've been working on it for 2 years, and I've been following the updates, and it's fully customizable. It has NCAA. I think the capability, the big thing with Maximum Football is it had Canadian rules.
Yeah.
So essentially CFL. The CFL didn't partner with it, whatever. And now Maximum Football is looking awesome. And at some point,
and the CFL had the opportunity to.
Well, if they can get their license to Maximum Football, I think it's out for beta right now. But if they can get the license to, or find a deal with Maximum Football, I think that might be a nice option to kind of dip their toe in the water when it comes to Canadian Football League video game. And this Maximum Football is looking legit.
So
graphics, everything looks awesome. And then again, like Maddie was saying, the downloadable content. I think someone will make a CFL. Downloadable content for it, but it's getting that CFL.
What's the demographic rules right now for the CFL? What's the demographic?
It's old. It is. It's old.
And so do you think kids would automatically just pick that video game up because it's Canadian football and they know nothing about Canadian football?
They probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
Is my guess. But they might be intrigued by it. The game's half decent. Like, well, I see all the players, see their images, I see the uniforms. The merchandising.
And sell the hometown stories too for some of the guys that are local. I mean, that's missed a lot in some of this stuff. I mean, go out and cheer for guys that you might know their families, right? Or maybe you grew up across the road from some of these guys. Mm-hmm. It is a beautiful league. I just feel like they've missed the mark on a few opportunities.
The issue with video game is you have to get the players in there, you have to get it licensed, so you have to get the CFLPA to be on board, which means there has to be money exchanged.
Yes.
And there isn't mass appeal of selling a video game in Canada that you'd be able to make the money back to make it worthwhile for both sides. There's 40 million people in Canada. How many people are going to buy a CFL video game?
Well,
right? It's small. So and that's not going to have appeal in the States. You're not going to be able to sell in the States, whereas Madden, people in Canada buy it, but it's bought by everyone in the U.S. That's where they can make money. And that's the issue with the video game. As great as it would be, if you want players in it. And so the CFL can never be part of this fully because there isn't the money in it. Because the moment the CFL's in it, then the PA is going to want a part of it. And there's just not that money there.
So you guys are going to hate me.
Which hurts.
But I think the only way to save the CFL is to go to 4-down ball. I really think that's the only way to do it. And that's just my opinion. And some other people's opinion, because it has to serve in my opinion, serve as a feeder league.
It does.
To the NFL to a degree, right? But you want to be able to follow more. There's got to be more guys than Nathan Rourke and a handful here and there that are going there.
Austin Mack was just in the NFL.
Okay, so more than that.
I think it's also going to be tough for the CFL
you want to see
be
more
this feeder league. You have the UFL coming in, the XFL coming in, these other ones where you have a chance to showcase what you do in a smaller field.
And the XFL could have, they wanted to partner with the CFL. I just think
here's the thing about the 4-down league is
I wanted to challenge you guys.
If I want to watch 4-downs, I could watch the NFL, I could watch NCAA football, and I already do.
Okay, and see that
why do I need a third, fourth? At least for me. The CFL is my favorite football league. If they went to 4-down, it'd become my third favorite football league.
Okay, and that's why I wanted to challenge you on it. I wanted to see why people protect it. And that makes sense because it is a different game.
Yes. So you would never make the CFL as, you would not create a new league in this football today with 3 downs. You wouldn't.
No.
That is legit.
Absolutely not.
But there's a history behind it. It's our game. It's Canadian. And there's even a lot of NFLers, or not NFL, Americans that come up play this game that don't want to change it either. They say it's a different, they like this. This is
Aaron Grimes said it on this show.
Aaron Grimes.
I was surprised. We talk about the Rouge. I say get rid of it, but...
No, that's cool.
I hate it.
It's cool.
Milt Stiegel has talked about it.
Right.
There's a lot of guys have come up here no, you keep this as is.
Yeah.
I don't think...
What's that?
Because why is a 4th down going to also change the game of the CFL? To get you interested in watching it?
it's not about the fourth down. It's about the synchronizing of the two leagues, the synergy between the two leagues. It's almost like the CFL would become an.
So do you think the CFL would get more players if they were 4 down than they won? Because I don't. I don't think there's players not coming here because it's 3 downs.
I'm saying aligning with the NFL.
I think that could potentially become an issue. Is they choose these other 4-down leagues in the States rather than come to a 3-down league, have to learn a new game just to show off to go back to the 4-down game.
They have
the thing about the UFL though is spring football has not worked in the US.
Yeah, no, it hasn't.
Yeah.
That they're actually only through year 1 of their league.
Yeah.
How did
because
weren't they in trouble too? Didn't they?
USFL and XFL joined forces, and now it was this past year. The attendance was average probably about 10 to 12,000 people.
Right.
Average. If you take St. Louis out of the equation,
The Nighthawks.
the Nighthawks, they were
Formidable franchise.
Yeah.
They were over 30.
I mean, St. Louis is hungry for a team.
They were over 30,000
Got ripped off
a game.
Right.
Everyone else was below 12.
How many?
So,
what's the average Elks right now?
18, 19.
Yeah.
It is
So
now?
even as
Good,
the Elks
good.
being poor, this is
Yep.
awful attendance.
It's still 18, 19.
They would be
Good.
second in the
Yeah.
UFL
Okay.
without that 4 down.
I love this passion.
And
This is
that's the thing.
awesome.
Like it's
See,
the UFL is. I'll say this: 5 years from now, it's not around.
Yeah. And it's failed. How many of those leagues have failed? You're right. So many of those 4-down leagues that try and come to be a.
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
AAF,
Okay.
which was bought by Tom Dundon for some software trademarking or patent that he ended up shutting the league down for.
That was a great half season we got out of it. Very exciting.
Yeah, I actually didn't mind watching. It was different.
Yeah, it was cool.
When this spring USFL or whatever the UFL XFL merger, that'll be 3 straight times the XFL has failed.
Yeah.
Am I missing? Well, the original US.
There's USFL original. There was a second edition of USFL that failed.
American
there was
Football League.
A UFL originally that once failed, which is now the new UFL. It's a second attempt. XFL has failed twice. This is attempt 3.
Yeah.
Although the second failure killed was but their attendance and TV numbers were steadily dropping week in week out.
Right.
Then COVID shut the league down.
They brought some cool rules though. Like
the
some
NFL
of those rules,
kickoff rule is an XFL rule.
No.
And I hate that the NFL is not saying that.
Yep.
I understand
Exactly.
Of course they're not.
It's the new kickoff rule, and all the everyone's talking about how they have these
it
new
was
kickoff
XFL.
rules. It's from the XFL people.
Yep.
Yeah.
They did it first.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's how the AHL serves the NHL though, right?
Yep.
They're guinea pigs for some of these new rules.
And
Having those leagues are valuable.
And that's where maybe the CFL could maybe do something a little with the NFL, that if there's rule changes that the NFL wants, they could maybe try again after.
Yeah.
But actually, CFL has rules that have gone to the NFL that they've done first, or that people in the States go, why don't we have these rules compared to it? And I will just go back to there was a lot of players that do go every year from the CFL to the NFL.
Okay.
At probably a
And
similar
that's my
pace as
ignorance.
UFL.
I just don't know.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just quiet. It's not as big of a story because...
Well, the big story, the big names, obviously. Like Nathan Rourke's a big story.
Yeah.
But Austin Mack's a guy that was a top receiver last year that was with the Falcons. He just got cut yesterday or 2 days ago, the same day as Nathan Rourke. But the CFL historically sends
has been a good feeder.
a good double digits to the NFL every single off.
I just think of Doug Flutie. That's all I can think of.
What about Jeff Garcia?
No, I don't know who he is.
What?
Quarterback from the Niners?
No.
Yeah.
No. I just became an NFL. Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to back up here. So
are you
I
not?
met
You're
my
not a
beautiful
football guy.
I met my beautiful wife a number of years ago. Right now I can't remember how many.
A lot of
10 years ago ish.
Watching or listening.
She asked for the link. I said I'm not going to give you the link. So
you can watch.
whatever.
You can watch for an hour and 40 minutes. And it's over.
But I grew up a hockey guy, and I was hockey or nothing else.
Right.
My wife and her awesome brothers, they're hockey, huge NFL people. So when we first started getting serious, she said to me, "You have to pick a team." We watch NFL every Sunday. We go get our pools tickets or whatever, and I had to pick a team. And ever since then, I became hooked. So going back 10 years, that's the line for me. Like that's where my knowledge of
I see.
NFL.
10 years. Alex Singletary.
Singleton.
Where's Singleton? Sorry.
Is he still in Denver?
Is it Denver? Yeah, because he was
He was
Eagles,
in
then he went to
Philly,
Denver.
yeah.
He's there.
He's had a really good career.
I'm just trying to think 10 years who would have been big impact players. Well, Reggie Begelton went to the Packs for a bit. but then he came back.
I can.
It's not a lot that stick around have long. Like the big
But it
careers, like
happens.
Cameron Wake's one of the big
Right,
careers that we
Cameron
have.
Wake.
Warren Moon's
Yep.
came from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Jeff Garcia is a big one.
Yeah.
There are. You could go through. Brandon Browner would have been a guy
Yeah.
who came from here.
How many Canadians though? I guess that's another
I
question.
don't
That's
think
just
a lot
question.
of Canadians.
That's just a question.
I don't think a lot of
Interesting.
Canadians off the top of my head go from the CFL to the NFL.
They usually go
directly to the NFL.
The NCAA.
They go to the NCAA, right? Like
Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard would be
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Carter O'Donnell would be one. Like I'm just
Chase Claypool.
Chase Claypool.
Oh,
Austin
yeah.
Patzer was an Eskimo first-round pick from. Was part of actually the Ricky Ray trade.
Yeah.
He never ended up
Who's
coming
the
to
fella
Canada, but
with
he
the
went.
Chiefs? The doctor guy there.
Oh,
Laurent Duvernay.
Duvernay.
who's retired now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a doctor.
Yeah. Super cool story. Yeah.
But like that's if the Canadians they go direct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it is the biggest league in the world. Like that, and I'll never think different. Like I would think if you're any football player,
You're not trying
in
to say
Canada,
it's not, yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah.
like there wouldn't be. I'm sure you're like, hey, it'd be great to play for Edmonton, but the goal would be the NFL.
Absolutely.
Just like in any, you could
Yep.
be in Bakersfield and maybe want to play for the Condors one day, but ultimately you want to really be in the
Yeah.
NHL.
Yep.
JMO tells a great story about Bertrand Berry when he ended up with the Esks at the time. He got his, I think, check for the game because he came in late in the season. And he went into, I think it was Tom Higgins at the time. He went into his office and he goes, "Hey, where's the rest of my money?" And Higgins like, no, this is all you get for the rest of the year. It was like 30 grand or something like that. And he's like, "Am I missing a zero on this paycheck?" He's like, "No, welcome to the CFL." He left and had a great career with the Arizona Cardinals after that. And I think he's still a broadcaster in Arizona. So yeah, there's a lot of those guys, and there's names in the CFL that aren't household names that you'd have to be a super fan to know that end up in the NFL the next year.
Going the journeyman route. It's
it
through
does happen.
hard work and
We did get a couple of texts about the CFL.
There was a bomber that just went to the States.
I know.
With the
You
Lions,
looked off in the distance. I'm
I
like,
just hit me. Well, there was one.
Like
I just
something's
remember
going on.
Zylstra, I think, is
Zylstra?
still there. But there was a player that went to the Lions, I think, this offseason. Or was it the Jets? But, like, it happens.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the CFL has
And I'm
historically
sure it
been
does.
a league that it gives.
so
it's
why doesn't the
second chance.
CFL? Why doesn't the CFL promote that? Why don't they?
Because how do you
showcase
promote a
that?
league saying watch players before, like, our league's not? I don't think. Would you ever promote we're the second
But
best
accept
league?
who you are, though.
I agree.
Accept who you are.
But how do you
And
market that part?
You market the fact that, well, again, we all know that you said it yourself. The NFL is a way better league. It's far superior.
It is
right?
the league.
It is the
Number one.
league. So embrace the fact that you aren't the number one league and that you still have talent in your league that you're helping to develop. And then and maybe they go. Because the fans will go and watch.
Yeah, I think the issue is, though, with that, like, when the Trappers were here, and that'll be the team I'll reference because we were AAA, you knew which players were going to go to the pros.
Yep.
You could, or which players came down from the pros.
Yep.
I will say we don't know which players are going to go to the NFL
I totally
next year.
agree.
That's the issue.
I totally agree.
With, like, there was a year where I thought
But on a
Boateng-
team-by-team basis.
I don't
then.
know, but like there was a year I thought Kwaku Boateng, who's on the defensive line, I thought he'd go to the NFL, and he didn't. And Jake Srezna got a chance in the NFL,
Yep.
and I was like, at the time, Srezna wasn't as good as Boateng. I'm like, how is he getting an NFL opportunity and not Boateng?
Yeah.
Because all year we were talking about how Boateng will go to the NFL next year.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. It was Srezna, and it was like, oh, how did that happen?
So
I think that's the issue for the CFL is we don't know which players this year
when
will
a player
have that
does
chance
go,
to go to the NFL.
When a player does go,
Yeah.
how do the teams promote that player? How, like, is there some sense of pride in having had that person a part of your organization?
But if you're the BC Lions, how do you promote that Nathan Rourke's no longer with the BC Lions? He's now
That's
in the
true.
NFL.
That's true. Okay, so that's a great point.
That's
Very good
the
point.
issue they got. Whereas at least with the again, I'll go Trappers like
Because
it's
it's
the same organization, but it's
a-
we've got this second round pick playing
Yeah.
for us this year,
Yeah.
or whatever.
It's
he might go.
true farm team. Yeah.
Oil Kings, you
Yeah.
know who the draft picks are going to be, and
Yeah.
like the Oil Kings, I think did last year a really good job of promoting some of the
Yeah.
other teams coming to town and
Yep.
come watch this
Yeah.
player
Yeah, they
who's going
do
to
a
be
good job with
drafted
that.
this year, and so you kind of know the lead up. Whereas the CFL, we don't know exactly who the biggest names are.
Yeah.
I will say the
That's
CFL
fair,
also
yeah,
does a
that's
great
fair.
job of not saying that they're the best league in the world.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
never pretend
They're
to
just
be
the
that.
CFL.
It's an ambiguous tap dance, isn't it? Like,
That was very poetic. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
That was good. I enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Orca Driver says the loudest that the Stadium Commonwealth has been in a while is when they announced Trey Ford as a starter.
Yeah, I can imagine.
More of that needs to happen for this team to return its fan base. All of the Elks merchandise, by the way, has been on sale this season online. Looks like they're clearing it out. Esks would satisfy a lot of the disenfranchised fans. That coming in from Orca Driver.
There's two things with Esks that I will say if they do go that way. One is how you define what Esks is will be very important because you can't say Eskimos with your
It's a
definition.
history of the franchise.
Yeah, but you can't say the word Eskimos with it.
No, it's just the history
Because
of the
part of
franchise.
this, you've brought this up many times, Tommy. If you have any reference, or like if you are the Eskimos, you're never getting the Grey Cup again.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Like,
league.
the league won't allow it.
Yeah.
The city won't allow it. Like there won't be money for this.
No,
so you
no,
have to make a
yeah.
decision if you're
But
for this team.
if
Do you
they
ever
say
want a Grey
Esks-
Cup again, or do you want to be
So-
the Eskimos? So you can't be Eskimos potentially.
No, but
so
Esks is you can't define. Look
What's
it up
a
in
packer?
the exact. Well,
100%.
So
cheese
packing
packer.
company.
Yeah.
But that
but-
question
but
will
it's
be
such
asked.
a-
It will,
And it's you have
so
to be
you
prepared
defend
with
it.
the
Gotta-
right definition of that.
Yep.
Because if you say
And
it's
it's-
well, it's a
Right.
history of the Eskimos. Now it's
No,
the Eskimos,
no.
right?
It's not history of the Eskimos. It's the history of
Yes.
the Edmonton CFL football franchise.
Right.
But that's what I'm just saying.
It
The definition
represents
matters.
a combination of the Elks and what they were before,
Yeah.
where they are now, and where they look to go.
Right.
That
a
is
pat-
the Esks.
Or, what's a Nick? A Nick. What's a Knickerbocker? But
Knickerbocker.
who the hell knows what the hell a Knickerbocker? What's a Philly? Right? Like there's some.
Okay, you
there's
know
some
the
others.
answers to that. Come on, it's a horse.
Yeah, because I'm a dork. But, like,
But he's right. But
yeah,
it's
it's
yeah.
like-
but
so
and
for our
but
teams with
the
meanings,
definition
just leave it like
matters
terms.
because
Yeah.
you can't. To me, you can't go back to the Eskimos.
Eskimo-
Just politically, all those reasons.
Okay,
You can't use that.
What
name.
did I say I wanted to talk about today? Politics and
Politics and
religion?
religion.
Yeah, let's get no.
Always
I,
great
we don't have to get
conversation.
into
But
it.
that's
Never
where it's
ends,
just
Yeah,
sadly.
never.
because of the
Ever.
great and because of the whole story around it.
We have to
It's
stay
that
away from
first
it, and that's
definition,
why.
and all they
Yep.
have to do if
Yep.
they actually go that way, you just
Yeah.
have to nail that the first time.
And
you have
honestly,
to well craft it. And you might actually have
Eskimo is a
already nailed
definition.
it.
Eskimo is a definition, though. It's a pretty beautiful definition, and they're pretty proud and powerful people. I've spent a ton of time up in the Arctic, on the Arctic coast, living, fishing, doing research up there, and I mean, they're pretty proud. They're proud people, Inuit people, you know. But I understand it. So again, yeah, Esks. I think is
you've
a
already.
summary
I think
of
you defined it very
Yeah,
well. You
yeah.
should almost write the
yeah,
the statement when it
yeah,
gets asked.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you just once if you go to the asks, it's the Edmonton asks, it's the double E.
Yeah.
The question is just gonna be asked once though. Who are the asks? What is that?
Yep.
And you have to define that. And if you can get through that without saying the word Eskimos, then I think you can move forward with this
Yeah.
and move on.
How did they answer it when they said we're the Elks?
Well,
When they said why,
there's
what was the
all-
answer?
There was
Well,
a
it's name or
Yeah,
whatever. But the
name.
reason I say that with asks though is because most people are gonna say, "What's the Eskimos?" That's what you're trying to say here without saying it. And that's where you have to define that what
yeah.
asks means. Then that's why
Legally, it's not
go to
Eskimos. It's just
football
Esks.
club.
Yeah.
they should have always stayed with football club.
I love the idea of Esks, though. I think a lot of people will. It's dancing that fine line, right? And it's not promoting hatred. It's not promote. It's just promoting a history of what the franchise was,
You
and
could call them the Eskies again.
oh man, so good. But can you wear the polar bear? What was the polar bear's name again?
Nanook.
Nanook. Can you wear the Nanook like hats and stuff? No, you can't. Right?
No, you'd have to stay away from that still.
I know.
Because again, you don't want to bring back.
I know you can't have the,
The
reference.
full references of
so
the
how? Who's
Eskimos.
your mascot?
Well,
as he
punter.
asks,
But what
They've got
happens to
punter.
Spike?
Oh, he's gone.
right?
He's gone.
He goes with
Right?
Nanook up north.
Yeah. Oh,
Goes to the farm.
Yeah.
Right? Never to be seen again. Poor Nanook.
He was a beautiful.
I guess you
mascot.
could
Yeah, it
keep
was a good
Spiker. Was that his name?
Spike.
Spike. You could keep him.
It's just punter.
Yeah.
The CFL foot.
Yeah.
Pretty safe one, yeah.
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 No one,
Yeah.
You can't really look at it and be like, no, can't use
I don't like
punter."
special teams.
Yeah. I really quickly, I was actually thinking about this because as the final, stages of this ownership change were happening, I was like, what if, like, let's say they somehow found a way to go back to the Eskimos name? Like, how could you smoothly pull that off? You would need like leaders from
Yes.
that community,
Northern communities.
to be there, and then people would still be like, "That is a cheat move. That is
No,
this,
no, no.
this, and this."
But
There-
let
you know
the
it'll be
people that
pushed back.
let the people that actually represent the communities speak for themselves instead of assuming what they want us, what we think they feel, right?
That's fair.
And that was a big thing that, anyways.
Well, the one thing though is that what I learned.
Rabbit
So
hole.
we had a few people. We brought quite a few people on.
Yeah.
I remember the JMO show at the old place.
Yep.
The thing I found was the elders didn't have a problem with the name.
No, they didn't.
It's the young people that do.
So,
And the thing is, if you ever went back to that, the conversation about changing the name would return,
Yeah.
and it would be there for 20 years until it changed again. That's why when they changed it, you didn't have to change it then, but you were going to change it 20 years from now or something. So that's why there's no point in going back, because then the conversation is going to come up, and also there's going to be, you then can't have Grey Cups.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, if I'm Larry Thompson, I'm buying this team. I want Grey Cups because there's a lot of money
Absolutely you
coming
do.
in.
Dollar
But
bill.
if I'm being told I can't have a Grey Cup because of this name, I'm going to put my feelings of the name aside and go, okay, well, we're going to
we'll
do
stay the
something
Elks.
else.
Not a big
Well,
deal.
the Elks or
All right.
the Esks
Yeah.
or whatever. I'm not
Yeah.
going to Eskimos because
No.
I
Esk
want
would
the
be-
money from
Yes.
this.
Eskies, like
So that's
Esk.
where-
you could do a lot with that. That's a good compromise, I think. in my
I just
opinion.
remember everybody's the Eskies. Hey,
Yeah.
you're going to the Eskies game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, we're going to the Eskies game.
So in the end today, Elks have approved new ownership, their board, and the CFL, according to Dave Naylor, to Larry Thompson. That will be officially announced later this week. Nathan Rourke is back in the Canadian Football League with the BC Lions through 2026. The St. Louis Blues have sent offer sheets that were signed by Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway, and we will wait 7 days or upwards of 7 days to see what the Edmonton Oilers will do in regards to that. Broberg's over $4 million. The compensation would be a second. Holloway's over $2 million. His compensation would be a third.
And the Blues got that second round
Yeah.
pick back today from the Pittsburgh
Collusion.
Penguins.
Collusion.
Boys Club.
Final thoughts. Okay, so I'm going to go predictions. We'll go with this. I'll start with you, Ty. What did the Oilers do? With Broberg and Holloway. Match or let them go? Broberg and Holloway, both of them.
I'm going to say that Holloway gets matched in Broberg. It's like, I think that number's just too high.
Yeah, knowing the others, I think they try and keep both. And I think a surprising guy like maybe Kulak is gone. I think they do something
Is
big.
that your prediction?
That's my prediction. Hey, you have to make a prediction, though. And we're going to
make
hold
my
you to it.
prediction. It's not
There
game
we
prediction. It's not game
go.
prediction. I'll do it on
There
that
we
one.
go.
Tommy?
I think they try to
Prediction.
keep both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say they match both. I'll go the easy
Okay,
way out.
all right.
They match
Hey,
both
made a
and they move on.
That was, yeah, we're proud. We're
It's
proud
not.
of you.
It's not game.
It's a big
predictions.
moment.
I don't do game predictions.
Can that be
That's
the
what it
moment of
is.
the year right there?
It could
Hey,
be a
right
special
there.
moment. Yeah.
Maddie's first prediction.
Yeah. Hello.
Wasn't my first, but
Nostramatti.
games don't fully happen. Well, that was an easy one. Ty, Davin, thanks for coming in.
thanks for having
Grand
us,
Plan
guys.
Northern Edge Athletics.
Yep.
It
Yep.
was great having you guys in,
Yeah,
and
it's been
hope
a
you enjoy
blast.
the two hoots.
Oh, yeah. No,
It goes down
That's a
nice
nice
and
way to
easy.
start
the job.
a Tuesday, right?
It is. Yeah. I'm actually on
Well, he's
vacation.
gone.
I'm on vacation right now.
He's off to BC.
Yeah. Gonna go do some mountain biking with the family.
Excellent.
And sit in the hot tub and drink more two hoots.
Sounds like a great time.
Coming up next here on Edmonton Sports Talk, we got the Lock Shop, Dusty and Huss. Maybe Dusty will be fully caught up on everything that's happened today. And then at noon, it is two guys and a goalie, Gager, Cass, Nielsen. A lot more discussion on the offer sheets with Broberg and Holloway and the St. Louis Blues today. Thanks for tuning in to the EST Hangout live on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. On behalf of Ty, Davin, Tom, I'm Matt. Again, thanks for tuning in. Lock Shop coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Let's go. There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola.